Hello, good evening,
Really.
and welcome back to
Has he got us muted?
Dice of the Beholder, running the Chronicles of Nidum. I
Chronicles of
haven't got you
Nidum.
muted. You're good there. They can hear you.
Oh, good.
But yes, welcome back, or we're glad to be back, finally, after all this time.
I haven't seen you guys in a year.
Not since last year, anyway.
Not since last year.
In a year. In the year 2022. A year.
Yep.
But yes, welcome to session 77 of the Chronicles of Nidum.
Fucking hell, did we get to 77?
It is actually session 77.
I love that your camera blurred as soon as we start.
Mm-hmm.
You've been doing
Fine for like the last half hour. As soon as we start, it blurs.
But anyway, yes! Work, you son of a bitch.
Work it. Work it.
Ah, this is good. Yes, there we go. Right, we're in. But yes, before we... professionalism returns. Thank you, Stu. Yes, before we jump into it, a word about our sponsors. Still, even though we haven't actually streamed in a while, our first sponsor is Loki Battlemats. They're an award-winning UK-based TTRPG accessory creator. There are many books of battle mats, little, big, giant sizes, and their modular book sets are full of amazing artwork that add an awesome backdrop to any tabletop game. If you are interested in finding out more, please search Loki Battlemat, L-O-K-E, on Facebook, or lokibattlemats.com to view their amazing artwork and shop their physical maps. You can, if you want to, check out their digital maps, some of which are free, over on Drive-Thru-RPG.
I had the links ready.
Our second sponsor is the wonderful, lovely, and amazing Blink Dog Dice. They're a small dice maker based in Cardiff. You can see amazing examples of their work available on their Etsy store. Search Blink Dog Dice, it's all one word, on most social media platforms, and the same obviously goes for their Etsy too. Please go show them some love. Not a sponsor, but worth a mention, Sirenscape. Provide the amazing ambience for our streams, and they can for yours too if you want to. If you want them to, please, if you can, check out sirenscape.com, because as always, epic games need epic sound. And now, it's time for everyone else. You're all on stream.
Oh,
Ah!
hi.
Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, almost everybody. Em is not here, sadly,
Yes.
due to technical difficulties.
The computer's cursed.
Yeah. We actually think this is truth at this point.
Unfortunately, yes. But it's very rare that we get to play D&D nowadays, so we're going to push on, unfortunately, without M this time. M will return once they get their computer sorted.
I think Millie's basically threatened to go around and beat it within an inch of its life.
As soon as we're all out of isolation and we've had all PCR results, I'm going to go over and beat M's computer up or try and fix it. Whatever, you can pick one.
They amount to the same thing, I think.
Very similar.
I think it is going to be mostly getting the demons out, which I assume will involve a level of physical violence.
I was also thinking maybe a candle, crucifix, and a bit of chanting,
Alt.
Bell, book, and candle.
Leave this place. Yes.
But yeah, does everyone
The
want
power of law compels you.
Yes.
Would everyone like to play some D&D?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Nah.
Are you in a scav, Craig?
Yes, I thought I'd have time while you did your recap.
All right.
And it was super short.
I watched the last episode on YouTube today just so I could remember what the hell happened last time, because it's been so long.
Probably for the best.
Yes.
It's been a minute.
Last time on the Chronicles of Nidum, after your very successful first bout in the games to be held in the soon-to-be crowned Prince of the Empire's honor, you were invited to the garden party, which is traditionally held after bout number 1 for the successors, or for the survivors, to have an audience with the more affluent members of Elven society. you were put on display. Uncomfortable, for the most part, though it did gain you quite a bit more notoriety and a considerable amount of coin. One of the more unfortunate circumstances that occurred during your time on display was that you met the Inquisitor once more. Perhaps more uncomfortable was that the Inquisitor therefore introduced you to his master, who left you all with an incredibly sour taste in your mouths. After then, speaking to the prince and speaking to a lovely young elven girl who gave you quite a large pouch of coin, Gabriella, you were escorted by the human servant, Cecil, or Cecile, that you then pronounced Cecil for the rest of the stream. And seeing in him some bardic talent, you decided to foster that talent by gifting him, I believe, Quill, your flute.
I did.
That was nice.
It was while leaving the party, while leaving the audience in your honour, that you were met by an elven woman. One you did not recognise, but one whose mannerisms were familiar to you. And upon getting into the prince's carriage to be conveyed back to Apolliteus' training camp, they took off their hats, presented themselves, of course, as you'd all worked out, as Natasha, and asked you how it's been going. And that was where we left off. So to see him on your travel back through the town, which does not take long, you regale Natasha with events since you have last seen them. But upon getting to the gate, it is quiet, there is no one on the street.
People on the street.
And the gates do not automatically open as the carriage gets there. So the carriage pulls up outside, and there is a rap on top of the carriage from the guard that is driving it.
Who's on top of the
Hello?
carriage?
The guard driving the carriage.
Can we help you?
Pardonnez-moi, monsieur. It is, I was signaling that we have arrived. And
Indeed.
And you can get out.
Is the gate going to open, do you think?
It does not look as if anyone is manning the gate.
Would someone usually be manning the gate, bro? I think they would, right?
They would.
I don't like the sound of that even one little bit.
No, Ariana, could you possibly message Dom and see if they're available?
Dom.
I can certainly try, or I could just fly up and see.
I'm loath to get out after our interaction with the Inquisitor and his boss.
Natasha leans forward, sticks her head out the window. You can see her looking around and up.
What do your elf eyes see, Natasha?
She kind of looks at you. Nothing that is not as it should be. Everything is fine. We should leave.
Okay,
Leave?
except... Okay.
And she steps out of the carriage.
I'll follow.
Follow, I guess.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Very dry throat today, I'm sorry.
We
You ain't
completed a
got the
hype
COVID,
train.
have you?
No.
No.
Yes, thank you very much to everyone. For Stu for gifted sub, Biggie 10 months, that's fucking crazy. And just about everyone in the universe cheered. Very, very kind of you all.
Thank you all. But yes, as you step out of the carriage, following Natasha, she steps forward and you realise as she puts her hand to the gates that they are unlocked. And she pushes one gently, and it does just swing very slowly open. As you gaze...
I'm going to...
Sorry.
I was just going to say, I'm going to make sure my cloak's wrapped around me, and I'm going to move more stealthily from here on in.
Okay. Well, if you are going to, then roll me a stealth check.
I can't. Because I haven't actually opened the app that has my character sheet on it. Because I've forgotten how to play this game.
I think it's mostly something to do with dominoes.
That sounds right. Oh, I've got advantage on stealth. Nice. Okay. Well, that's hilarious. 9. Yeah, 11.
11. Okay.
It did not go well.
Okay. As you make your way into the courtyard, then, you can see that the... Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you. As you make your way into the courtyard, you can see that the regular kind of fire pits lit by the denizens of, or the people employed by the training camp are all lit. You expect to see maybe 20 or 30 people sat there. The courtyard is deserted. Apart from, over on the benches that you last took a meal at, 2 figures. Sat hunched over the bench, one scrabbling food to get as much into his mouth as he possibly can, the other very calmly using cutlery. It is dark. They are across the courtyard from you. I want everyone to roll me a perception check.
Would love to.
Perception.
Oh, thank you for rolling better than you did before. Whew.
That's not very good.
17.
Hang on, sorry. Greg?
Hang on, my... Yeah, it's a whole 11, bro.
Okay. Oriana?
20.
Dice.
Oh, 17.
Ace?
I don't
Ace.
have their character sheet open, but I rolled a 1, so I don't suppose it matters.
No, it does not. Okay. Dice and Oriana. Both of these faces... Well, one of these faces is immediately familiar to you. More so to you, Dice, having spent, I suppose, slightly more time with them. The equivalent of maybe half an hour. But you did get very up close and personal when last you touched their chest, saving Quill's life, and ending the curse that controlled them on the train.
Ooh.
You now look at Bastian, who is sitting at the bench, scrabbling food into his mouth as if he's never been fed before in his life.
Natasha, were you keeping secrets from us?
The other face you see, both of you, it might be a trick of the light, but it has been a long time, well, actually only a few months since you last think you saw this person, but considering what's happened to you in those few months, a very long time indeed. But you're pretty certain that under the considerable mass of muscle now packed onto their frame, there is the young boy you found on the streets of Cardiff defending a young girl in an alleyway from some half-orc, thugs. There is now, sitting opposite to Bastian, Stevan, the small boy you left in the care of Clint not so long ago.
I did not remember that.
I did.
Being so specific.
It was the one who was using a bin lid as a shield.
You say
Yes.
you saw a small boy last time.
Yeah.
He ain't small no more.
He's had a growth spurt.
As you go to step forward, Natasha puts her hand on your arm, Quill.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear her whisper very quietly, "Look."
What would you like me to look at?
Can you speak Thieves' Cant, Quill?
Ooh, can Quill
Phil?
understand Thieves' Cant? Yes,
Can
Phil
Phil?
can understand Thieves' Cant, yeah.
Thieves can't.
Thieves can't, but Quill can.
Oh boy.
You did not make your entrance into the courtyard quietly. So,
Right.
you immediately find it quite rude that neither of them have looked up or paid any attention to your entrance whatsoever.
I do find it rude when people don't pay attention to me. You've correctly assessed my character.
However, you do then notice, when looking at Bastian, that only one of his hands is shoveling food into his mouth. The other hand is rapping rhythmically on the table. You see his fingers flash out, making different shapes. And in Thieves' Cant, you do quite quickly determine that he is sending the message off in the shadows to the right.
I will look in the shadows to the right.
Okay. Make me a perception check.
Oh, that's a lot better. 21.
Okay. You see off in the shadows to the right a shape. They are standing deathly still. They are holding what looks like a long wooden pole. Also has some very soft metallic edges to it. They're holding it up to their face. One end then is pointing straight at Oriana.
Has Bastian looked at me?
Bastian has not looked at you.
Interesting. 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to cast Phantasmal Force,
Mm-hmm.
targeting the person with the
The shady fuck.
stick in the corner.
Okay.
And let me just read the exact details of Phantasmal Force for a second.
Could you read them out loud for the benefit of the stream and DM that hasn't played this game in a while?
Yes.
And me.
You craft an illusion that takes root in the mind of a creature that you can see within range. The target must make an intelligence saving throw. On a failed save, you create a phantasmal object, creature, or other visible phenomenon of your choice that is no larger than a 10-foot cube and that is perceivable only to the target for the duration. The spell has no effect on undead or constructs. The phantasm includes sound, temperature, and other stimuli, also evident only to the creature. The target can use its action to examine the phantasm with an intelligence investigation check against your spell save DC. If the check succeeds, the target realizes it's an illusion and the spell ends. While the target is affected by the spell, the target treats the phantasm as if it were real. It also specifies that the target is so convinced of the phantasm's reality that it can take damage. So you could make like a phantasmal creature and it could attack the target and it would actually take psychic damage from the attacks.
Okay.
So that's relevant to what I want to do, because what I want to do is a little tangential to that. So with the phantasm up, you can make an attack with it every round that does 1d6 psychic damage. Instead of that, I would like to basically use the phantasm to grapple the person in the corner. So what I want to craft is I want to craft these phantasmal shackles that shoot up from the floor, wrap around their wrists and ankles, and just pull down to try and grapple them in place to stop them from doing any fucky shit with the staff.
Cool. Okay.
Jiggery pokery.
What's the save?
It's intelligence save,
Okay.
and the goal is 15.
You rolled a 16.
Shit on my dick. Okay, so none of that actually happens. They just see like some illusory chains appear and then immediately dissipate.
Okay. As
I
that
saw this guy in the shadow.
no, only Quill at the moment.
Would we see them now that Quill has cast something in that direction, though?
Potentially.
Can I make my way over to Sebastian and
It's just Bastion.
the other one?
As Quill did this, I'm gonna need a bum. Okay. Cool. There is a flare of magical energy from the figure in the corner.
Well, I see him now.
Yes. Minor magical energy. You, however, Oriana, feel magic hit you. It does no damage, but you feel...
Is it has he cast a spell?
Yes.
Counter spell.
Okay. Very, very easy to do, considering the level of the spell. Cool. Yeah. It's a cantrip. Cool. So as you immediately... I'll feel this magical surge kind of hit you, and you feel somewhat vulnerable. The feeling dissipates quite quickly as the spell from Quill cancels it out. You do, however, see then a ring of lights immediately sprout up and start to encircle the figure in the shadows. The shadows have disappeared. He is now in full view of everyone as you see fairy fire start to ring him. You look off into the distance, up onto the wall where that magical burst of energy came from that cast the fairy fire spell, and you see nothing apart from the glint of an arrowhead as it pokes from an upstairs window.
Hey.
It's all right, everyone. I can see him. A familiar voice shouts from the window.
Oh, good. Eric.
Clint is in the shadows of the window.
I'm going to walk over to the person hiding in the shadows.
Well, now they step forward, still aiming their weapon at you.
Yeah, I'll carry on walking towards them.
You recognize them, Oriana. Their armored form, the helmet that they very rarely take off, the energy weapon that you have seen evaporate an elf before now. Jarrus stands before you.
Is that really a way to greet someone you haven't seen in a while?
You did not keep your word.
Excuse me? You were running late. I've been waiting for you to get here.
From what I can see, you're in hiding.
I am not in... Oh, yeah, no, yes,
We're a
sorry.
little bit in hiding.
There might be a bit of a translation issue here. Being on exhibition for the royal family, totally hiding.
We're only here because we get diplomatic immunity.
Diplomatic immunity.
You know, the royal family whose palace you want to break into.
Don't we know a couple of people who live in that palace now?
Yeah, I wouldn't...
Could
I
consider
think,
it to be
you know-
groundwork that we've laid.
Hell, I'm even friends with a member of the royal family, so... Suck it up and apologise, Tinhead.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
24.
I didn't doubt it. Takes a few moments as you get even closer until your face is staring directly down the barrel of the gun, mere inches away from your nose.
I lick the tip of it.
You can see him give an uncomfortable... It sways slightly. There's an uncomfortable shudder to the... Okay.
Surprise.
You can almost imagine a confused kind of, she licked my gun under his helmet, and then he kind of puts it up. You can see him touch a button on the side of it, and you hear an audible, an audible energy expulsion as it goes, and then he just puts it on the ground next to him.
Yeah, don't worry. Helping you get your son back is still on the list of 100 other things we have to do.
98.
He looks around at everyone else in the courtyard, takes stock of everyone. He's new. Nods towards Quill.
Yes. Yeah, we got rid of the shady sack character. This one's much friendlier.
Probably for the best.
Probably.
These...
Eleanor Subtle Quill. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
He's very full of himself.
I don't think that it...
In a good way.
I don't think that it means one's full of oneself if one thinks that an introduction should include names.
Which is a good point. This is Jarrus.
A pleasure to meet you, Jarrus.
He's a bounty hunter that's after us.
He's tried to kill us a couple of times. Hi, Jazz.
I don't think there's a bounty on my head, am I okay?
Well,
It probably is now.
It probably is after the rain, I would imagine.
After the... Oh.
the bounty has been updated. I've
Yes.
hunted...
Well, we have a deal.
I've hunted her. I've hunted him. I'm pretty sure I've been paid to hunt that one. And he nods towards the window.
Almost definitely, I would imagine.
Seems unwise.
He nods towards Stevan. Haven't hunted him. Kind of sizes him up a little bit. Don't think I'd want to.
No. Anyway, come sit by the fire.
And also, have you done something to these two of our friends? Because if you have, I would rather you undid it.
Oh, now you turn to see Bastian and Stevan, and they are no longer sitting at the table. Now that Jarrus has been confronted, Bastian is kind of just standing there. He's got a small hand crossbow in one hand, well, in his flesh hand. He's got a dagger in the hand on his metal arm. Stevan is standing there with his arms crossed across his chest.
All right, then.
It's okay, everyone. Just a misunderstanding.
This is a friend of ours, after a fashion.
They arrived after you did. They seem to have pressing concerns. I'll wait by that fire over there.
What happened to the people who would usually open the gate?
With hindsight, I think your friends very surreptitiously sent them away, so they wouldn't be in danger if I attacked. I thought I was a lot stealthier than that, but apparently not.
No. We've got some very clever friends.
So it would seem. I can wait.
Go, rest up, grab something to eat.
He stalks over to one of the fire pits. Bastian and Stefan sit back down at the table. Bastian is now much more slowly taking in food, less of a pretense to keep up. Stefan puts his fork down rather daintily and makes sure the plate is pushed to one side before he places his hands on the table. As he places his hands on the table, he knocks a cup off and very, very quickly catches it. But unfortunately, the contents of the cup sloshes everywhere all over Bastian, who just looks at him.
Oh, look at you, you've grown up so much.
And he smirks and shakes his head and goes back to eating. Yes, I grew up a little. I'm not that used to it yet. Most of this is quite a new development.
You'll get there.
Which I believe is actually down to you guys.
We might have had something to do with it.
Well, I'm sorry. Natasha probably wants to speak to you first. You don't need to know my story. It's fine. And he just kind of goes back to sitting quietly, looking like he's waiting for orders. Natasha smirks and just kind of sits down, beckons you all to join her.
I'll go sit down.
I go sit down.
Okay.
I go make a drink. I'll stay nearby though.
So, a lot has happened to you since we last met. You have led interesting times here in Paras. I come find you. You are liaising with Prince. Abdicated Prince, but Prince nonetheless. How do you do this, Oriana?
Straight up charisma.
She gives you an appraising eye.
You know.
Yes, I know. Niklaus tells me he has spoken to you since you've been in Paras, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Couple of times, yes.
Have you made much headway on missions given to you by Niklaus?
No.
No.
Because every time we try and do something, we get in trouble and end up
Somewhere else.
dying, and then we get dragged somewhere else, and then we have to do something else to be able to get out of that situation.
And the next thing you know, you're fighting in a tournament.
And that really takes up quite a lot of your mental real estate.
Especially if you leave this place unguarded, the Inquisition's gonna just swoop you up.
Yep. Hence the reluctance to get out of the carriage.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I believed that you entered into tournament as planned. I thought it was genius.
It was under duress.
It was definitely not our plan. Oh, I've
It
gone.
was a genius plan to not get arrested and murdered by the Inquisition.
And it could be a way to get us diplomatic immunity, which means any previous crimes would be written off. And then a little bit louder say, and any bounties would be dropped.
So, you are telling me you are given perhaps mission to you are given mission to infiltrate palace, perhaps determine how to free prisoners of war, determine where gnomes are,
Yep.
and potentially find whereabouts of highly valuable assassination targets. And you do this by entering into tournament that gets you invite every night of week for 5 days into palace.
Yep.
By accident. This was not planned.
We entered the tournament on purpose. It's just that wasn't the purpose.
It was a different purpose, but it worked out quite well.
We aren't given a lot of freedom at these events.
So his
in
case...
Palace. Possibly we will get more as we get further into the tournament.
The friends we are making will also be useful, I think.
The real treasure, they say, is the friends you make along the way.
It is old saying on the icy plains of my home. Kill 7 birds when aiming for bear with 1 stone.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
I mean, we do also need to steal back my family's crown, avenge Rosette, remove the blood trace still, free the gnomes, free the queen.
If you could kill a bear with
and
a stone...
whatever jobs my brother wants us to do.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
If you can kill a bear with a stone, I will give you 250 gold.
I have never killed bear with stone, but I could try.
Why would you be hunting a bear with a stone? It's a stupid saying. I don't like it.
Have you seen bear?
Yes.
Have you seen bear?
Yes.
Stuffed or alive?
You didn't specify that?
You did
Alive or a picture?
Has anyone seen a bear?
I've seen bears. There were 2 of them
Where?
outside the entrance to the library in my estate.
So
The
far...
stone.
No, they were stuffed. Very tall things. I'm saying that I don't believe you could kill one with a stone. I don't understand why you would have a stone to hunt them with, to accidentally kill 7 birds with.
You could kill a stone one with a stone.
I doubt it.
If you hit bear in right place on head with stone, it will die.
Yes, I believe you, but I think that the right place is behind several inches of skull.
Just throw very hard.
You can't do that.
But, well...
Perhaps one day we will
everyone
be
at
in...
this table has some form of use of magic.
No magic.
No magic. I mean, I suppose a good slingshot would do it.
It would not. I
Depends
read
how
about bears.
pointy the stone is.
And it also depends how old the bear is.
You're thinking a baby bear, because that's not right, Natasha.
If you're
I've just
thinking...
started pouring drinks for everyone now as we discuss how to kill a bear with a single stone.
Listen,
So
What
that's
I'm
Gareth
saying
saying,
is-
could you kill a bear with a single stone?
all I'm saying is that if you wait for the bear to die of old age and you throw a stone at it just as it's collapsing to the ground, that doesn't count as killing it with the stone. The only stone I can imagine you killing a bear with is a boulder that you roll down a mountain onto it. You're going to need a very obliging bear to stand still long enough for you to do that.
Or a distracted bear.
Right?
As you are having this conversation and Oriana is
Maybe
pouring
you can mate it
drinks,
with the 7 birds.
an arrow suddenly comes out of nowhere and thunks quite heavily through a very small handle on a tankard into the table.
I turn around and go, Clint!
As you look at the arrow, you can see that just behind the arrowhead, a stone has been tied to the length of the shaft. And a voice from the shadow shouts, "Depends how good your aim is."
Under no circumstances does that count. If you tie a stone to the arrow and kill the bear with the arrow, the stone is merely an accessory.
Clint, do you want to come down and get a drink?
I'm good.
Alright. Well, this is surreal. Did you want something in particular?
I'm pretty sure that even a bow and arrow isn't the optimal bear hunting tool.
I pick up a very small rock off the floor and just throw it at Quill and go, shh, no bears.
It didn't even kill me.
I wasn't
You're not a
trying.
bear.
Anyway, I attempt to dodge.
You attempt to dodge. I
Roll
guess
an attack, Millicent.
You can't
unarmed strike?
attempt to dodge after it hits you, and you say, "See, didn't even kill me.
No,
it's
she
hit
didn't.
you."
She didn't roll a fucking attack.
I didn't.
You don't know whether it hit me or not.
Right, is this an unarmed strike? I don't know how to do thrown. How do I do thrown? I never throw anything.
It's an improvised weapon, so you can't add your proficiency.
So it's
Okay.
just plus dex
Yeah.
mod.
Plus dex mod. Okay, alright. Okay. 18?
18 to hit.
Shield.
Are you genuinely using shield?
Waste a shield against a very small rock thrown with very little force.
Oh, I've missed you guys. Go for it.
Bounces off the shield and I go, what a waste. Why? Okay.
Bastian kind of stops eating.
It's the most casual shield as well. Like Quill's got both feet crossed on the chair and just.
Bastian smirks at you without making a sound. And looks at Natasha. I thought you were lying.
Oh, what's she been saying about us now?
No,
Say
I'm
it,
not
that's
lying.
not-
I'm just a cat.
No, they are always like this.
Yeah, there's no argument there.
People keep trying to kill us. If we didn't have a sense of humour, we would be miserable.
Jarrus!
Jarrus! Have a sense of humour.
Bastian laughs.
Jarrus does not.
He could come sit with us, you know. Are you okay for him to come sit with us? Sort of just looking around the table.
That depends. Did he wear pink on Wednesday?
His cut-offs weren't short enough.
I
He
mean,
can't sit with us.
he can come sit with us if he wishes.
No, he's brooding. He's very busy.
I'll turn round and sort of beckon him over. Come here.
Jarrus kind of looks at you. And then goes back to staring into the fire. Not moving.
Look, you tried.
So,
At least fire's magic.
none of the fires are magic, but you have fire magic.
Yeah, no, hang on, I'm just checking something.
Where in the palace are the prisoners being kept?
Oh, you know in the garden party? You must
Da.
have seen the layout of it. Yeah? Okay.
There.
There is a small door off to the left of the main door, down to the side, and the prisoners are being kept in there, or at least the matron mother. I'm not sure about the others.
That is entrance into standard cellar, but you are saying they are being kept below cellars, below ground.
I would have to assume so, yes.
Meanwhile, I'm going to use Control Flame to turn out Jarrus's fire.
Jarrus doesn't move. The fire dies. Doesn't even look at you. But you can see him kind of sag his shoulders like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Just giving him some shadows to brood in.
And it's gone for the poor guy. It's chilly.
Can I relight it with Control Flame?
Relight my
You could,
fire.
you could take the embers if you hadn't fully put it out.
I hoped they were being kept above ground. Unfortunately, there is spell on door leading into cellar that would negate illusion.
Today, the prince... Okay, we had a conversation with the Inquisitor, who is a grade A asshat. And also possibly rotten, did you know? Anyway. We had a conversation with him, and he said he was going to torture the matron mother as a result of our arrogance. The prince went in to stop him, and hopefully has seen some things that may bring him further onto our side.
Right, we saw the Inquisitor go through that door, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did it end the Inquisitor's illusion?
The Inquisitor's illusion.
Yeah,
It's not an illusion, is that?
it is. He's all dead and shit under there.
Yeah, it's not a typical illusion. Though,
As
is
he
it?
as he walked in, no change. Which, now you think about it, roll me an Arcana check.
Sadly.
I help as we're discussing it?
You could, but I've rolled a 20.
Never mind, I don't need to help, carry on.
With the nature of the spells you yourself craft and create, illusion magic is not something that is alien to you. It's very, very familiar to you. And you understand the type of spell that would negate it, that would either reverse the illusion or allow people to see through it easier. Looking at the Inquisitor, knowing what his true visage is, as it has been scarred by your own claws, as Oriana has been able to see through it, there is a possibility then that it is not an illusion. There are certain other spells, much more powerful than you think any mortal should be able to cast. If it's the kind of spell that can affect everybody looking at it, but maybe some kind of psychic control that stops his true form being perceived. Not so much an illusion that is cast on him, but a thought that is implanted in everyone else's mind. You're familiar with this kind of idea. You've come up against a thought implanted in everyone else's mind before. Because no one else seems to know what is west of Avalon.
Ah, yes. The spell mass catfish. I must have forgotten about it.
Catfish.
It's credit to Ian.
Oh, before I forget, the lights at the party.
Da.
They're fairies.
They're furries?
They're fairies.
Fairies, okay.
Fairies.
Not
Little
furry.
things, wings.
Fairy lights.
Is that why you were talking to that lamp for a substantial amount of time?
Yeah, why else would I be talking to a lamp and feeding it whiskey?
Hey, did you
Oriana?
ask it what was west of Avalon?
No, I didn't.
We're back there tomorrow,
I've been
perhaps.
kicking myself since. I was a little distracted by the fact of, hey, there's a fairy.
Perhaps
They've got them chained up.
Tomorrow we could have another chat with the lamp. Well, you could. I don't speak fairy. Does Natasha say there is nothing west of Avalon every time we talk about this?
Yes,
That's
all
Jen.
of them do. To the point where,
It gets irritated.
yeah, when Quill says what's west of Avalon, and when you kind of repeat it as a, oh, maybe tomorrow you could say it, all three of them do repeat it quite quickly.
Oh my god!
And then do not look as if they've realised what they're saying.
What is west of Avalon? What is west of Avalon? What is west of Avalon?
And they very quickly repeat it to you. Nothing is west of Avalon, nothing is west of Avalon, nothing is west of Avalon.
Jeez.
Well, if you did that for long enough, you could make an entire town lose their voices.
I think you'd lose yours first.
No, you just get multiple people to do it.
You could also talk very quietly and cast prestidigitation to make it louder.
Yeah, see?
I have someone I need to go check on. I will be back. And I'm going to get up and I'm going to go look for my nightmare and my Cerberus.
Oh,
Okay.
the
See where they're
babe.
being kept. My babies.
When you
I
get
love
up,
that when you said you were going to go and check on your dog in game, your dog in real life.
Yeah, I don't know what he's now sat staring at me from the door.
You gonna go check on your baby?
But you
You
were
said
gonna get
baby.
up.
Come here.
He's like, nah.
Come here. What's the matter?
Natasha
Cerberus.
watches Oriana walk away, and then turns back to you
Yeah,
all.
she does.
And then turns back to you all. Very well. What about the gnomes?
Okay, I
What
went
with
into the
this
fact.
grand plan they are working on?
Okay. I went into the factory. Have you ever been in there?
Yet we have not been able to gain access above ground, and negotiations with ruler below ground are tricky.
I would imagine so. Well, if you can get in from below ground, it's quite straightforward. Negotiations weren't nearly so hard for us. So I went in from underneath, and I had a look around, and the elementals that they're using for the airships are angry. The gnomes are not in good condition. It's hard to find your way around in there. There's a lot of guards.
She holds up a hand to kind of pause you for a moment. Elementals.
Okay, I'll take a few steps back. Yes, elementals. The power for the slipping into Russian again. The power for the airships is exclusively powered by elemental power that are trapped and used.
Now, if there's a grand plan that they're working on, it might be the gross psychic leech train.
I would imagine it's something along those lines, yes.
Which might supersede the need for enslaved elementals.
You know about the gross leech train, right?
I think there's a gross leech flying machine as well.
Oh, there absolutely is, yes. Because we weren't able to go and deal with that, and we've got one of the keys for it, though.
I think you might need to start at the beginning.
Oh, that's not possible, but we can tell you about the
I
gross
was in my library one day when I found this book.
At this point, can I just come out riding on the nightmare?
Yes, please.
With Cerberus, because I'm like, he just needs a wee. He just needs a night wee.
As you say that jokingly, Quill, to her, and then trail off, roll me a perception check.
And then I come out walking a nightmare and a two-headed dog.
13?
13.
There is, as you
House in New
mention
Orleans.
the book, a twinge at your side, like a weight pulling downwards. Almost as if you have a book in your pocket that is pressing more heavily against your leg, which is impossible because it currently inhabits a space in a demiplane enclosed in a bag. Nevertheless, there is a weight at your leg for a moment as you mention the book that you have not felt before, and then it disappears.
Huh?
But as then you break into the explanation of the train you've discovered, the gnomes working on the elementally powered airships, Oriana does ride out on the nightmare, Cerberus in tow.
Show off.
I suppose head over slightly towards...
Can I find something I can use as like a toy to play fetch with him?
You absolutely can.
Sweet.
A leather, weighted ball would
There
probably
is
work
a
quite well.
leather-weighted ball. It ain't gonna last long.
Fantasy call.
Yeah. However, in the jaws of a Cerberus, it's not gonna last long. But yeah,
No.
you can find. You can
Didn't
find
last long
something.
here either.
Start throwing the ball, trying as best as I can throw a weighted ball, but I throw it as close to Jairus as I can get it.
Mm-hmm.
Just so this two-headed massive dog comes charging towards it.
You do. You find something, not so much a ball, more like a training throwing weapon, weighted correctly, but made of wood, with leather strapping on it. The Cerberus does catch it, run back to you. Jairus kind of tracks it with his helmet, and then looks up at you. That's a Cerberus.
He's a good boy, and I'm just like, you're a good boy, and swap in between the two.
I'm not even going to ask.
I won him?
I'm not surprised. I apologize for not coming sooner with, I suppose, open arms instead of weapons in my hands. It has been a long time since I have seen my son.
Mm-hmm.
Have you word at all of him?
No, I've not heard anything.
Well,
We'll find him, though.
I know where he is. He's in the dungeons of the palace.
And you know what I mean.
I'm just hoping that they don't, or they believe me when I say I could not infiltrate this place or kill you when I return to them later.
It's a place full of warriors,
Exactly.
and they've seen us fight.
Persuasive. Would you like
Or
us to
just
mark
don't-
you up some?
Or just don't return to them.
I have to. They, in much the same way they know where you are, know that I have returned to Paras, and have not yet reported in.
So who exactly hired you?
The Inquisition.
The Inquisitor.
Well, I mean, you're not supposed... We're under the Prince's protection while in here. If his own guards can't attack us, why would he think a bounty hunter could?
I operate somewhat outside of the law.
So did the Inquisition.
They are the law.
Called from the other table. That's not strictly true, though, is it? They're not
In
supposed
their
to.
own law.
I don't think you understand how strong the Inquisition is in the Empire. Even now, I do not even know if the Prince knows of the battalions of Inquisitors that have been called back from the front, that are within 2 days' march of the capital.
Well, the Prince will know before the end of the night.
I think if there were ever to be a time for a coup, if it was now, there are not enough loyalist forces left in Paras to stop them.
That's...
That's another
My-
thing to add to the list.
How many humans are in Paras? Jaros? Natasha?
Thousands, probably.
Jairus shrugs quietly. Natasha thinks about it. I'm not sure if count has ever actually been done, but I would say estimate. Bastian turns slowly and looks at you, Dice. 274,321.
That's a weird thing to have a lot of knowledge about, but okay.
Handy.
Very handy in this instance. How many of those, Bastian, are not too old, not too young, able-bodied and able to fight if they were provided the means to do so?
Armed.
The Empire doesn't do much to keep those less useful alive. So,
That's true.
there aren't that many too old to fight. The bigger problem would be those too young to fight, but it depends on what you think is too young. You'd be surprised at what a 12-year-old can do.
Just thinking, there are an awful lot of people with reason to hate the Inquisition if they were given the right promises, the right assurances for their future. Perhaps the Prince might have more forces than he thinks. Messages can be carried, we can put things in place, but Ori, it would be for him to think about what promises he would make. I can carry promises to the people, but not without the Prince.
There's also the issue of who is the public going to stand with should a coup happen.
The
Would they
public
be
will-
offended that humans are fighting for them and just go with the Inquisition anyway? If
They'll
there's
panic.
public support behind the Inquisition,
They'll panic, they'll hide. Nobility are not known for putting their necks on the line. And most
But they
will
are
side
known for getting involved in politics.
politics, sure, but not battles. They will side with whoever the victor is at the end and claim to have always been loyal, but the majority will hide.
It is idea.
It's not a perfect idea, but there is already some dissent in the human populations. I can't imagine why.
Are we fighting tomorrow?
Sure, I think so, yes.
We should probably rest. It's late.
I'm going to scratch your dog on the head that's really friendly and just sit there scratching it until I can get the leg to go. Where are our friends, Natasha? From here, I mean.
They're all in bed.
Good, fine. As long as they weren't relocated elsewhere. We will keep working on all of our problems. There are many people we want to free from the dungeons, but the Inquisition are and will be a big problem. And the Inquisitor, the person who stands as master over him, is... Have you ever cracked an egg in the sink and it's been green and black and has an odor that could kill you at 10 paces?
Those are the only kind of eggs anyone not in favor of the Empire are given.
Okay, so you know, the texture of that
They make
is
good
how you
eating.
feel when he talks. They do not. The texture of that is how you feel when he talks.
Mm.
It's like something slippery and cold coating your skin. He is more powerful, I think, and darker than the Inquisitor himself.
I physically cannot enter his home. Just because this feeling of something that is not right.
The deal, you know about... Just to check, you know about the deal, right?
Deal.
Okay. So, when young elves reach a certain point in their lives, they go and they take part in a ritual.
I know.
Yeah?
I
The
know.
deal.
I know about deal.
Oh, thank God. Okay, good. I thought I was going to have to explain thing that's something you should definitely have known.
So you're aware that the deal is more of a warlock patron type of deal?
Necromantic deal, not nature.
It has been theorized. Yes. Your findings, things you have told me, Klaus. They are. It makes much more sense.
Another idea to help, should we need to fight these people, would be to find as many with holy power, like our friend Ace here, as possible. The antithesis, if you will, of the Inquisition would be holy purity. I can roll an Arcana or Intelligence check against saying that if you want, right?
No, it's fine. You're pretty bang on.
I know.
She smiles and nods towards Stefan, who shunts his cloak to one side and pulls a large, circular, gleaming shield off his back. This shield is... You've seen the like of it before, hung on the walls of Ace's father's blacksmith forge. But instead of wood surrounded by a metal band in a circular in fashion with a design painted onto it, the entire thing looks as if it was metal. The swirls you can see in the front of it look as if they were poured into a mold. There are no joins, there are no rivets. The only thing that does not look natural and like it would almost come alive and jump off the shield at you is a huge, almost stamped hammer directly in the center. Very reminiscent of the hammer that Ace wields and the one that they will wear around their neck. It is a beautifully wrought version of Mjolnir.
Not
And
so much.
And Stevan kind of holds the shield in front of him. I found purpose.
Good.
I can only imagine that Ace would be sitting there grinning ear to ear.
Ace just like holds their hands out almost automatically to see it, and then kind of is embarrassed and like puts their hands back. Stevan goes, no, of course, and just hands the shield over to Ace, who just marvels at like the craftsmanship and stuff.
Well, that's two.
Dice. Oriana, Ace, your other friend is not gone, as you said earlier.
No.
I have thanks. I have thanks to pass on for a kindness offered someone in a cell beneath an elven knight's keep.
I remember the person.
The kindness offered to them helped them release their true self.
What's their secret? Nothing.
After releasing their true self, they caused quite a lot of havoc in the streets of Londinium.
Oops.
Before they found their way to Wrath. It was they who concocted some potions, I suppose, at my request, so that I could aid Wrath and everyone more than I could in my much smaller form. And as you can see, and as he stands up now, he's a good like 1.5 feet taller than the last time you saw him. He's around about the same height as Oriana. This is what the potions wrought.
It wrought well.
It was only supposed to be temporary, but I heard a voice speak to me and ask me to seek out a shield. I found it, and the potion hasn't worn off yet.
You've been blessed.
It would appear so.
Good.
In very much the same way I think that our friend Ace has.
You do look familiar.
I just wanted to thank you. Without your actions, without you freeing Brucius, or helping, I suppose, to free Brucius, I would be back in Cardiff, not being able to help in any way apart from wash the pots. At least now I can hopefully make a difference, and that's down to you.
It's good.
More the merrier.
Well, honestly, it looks like we might need your help, so it's probably a good thing you're here.
I just wanted to remind you how many lives you've touched. And the change
I know I
you've
get told off
already...
for touching people.
The change your kindnesses have already wrought in the world. There are many more thankful, hopeful people out there because of you than there were before. You should be proud of yourselves.
That's my Facebook memory for today. From 6 years ago when we went to see Star Wars.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. But yes, you should all be left to rest. And Quill,
Yes.
my thanks, obviously, for these events as they have come to pass do not yet extend to you, but I'm sure my friends here would not travel with you if you were not also righteous and pure of heart and trying to change the world like they are. So, I hope to hear more of your exploits.
For the record, I'm not
You're
sure any of
you
the
muted,
pure of
Quill.
heart.
Yes, I expect to be consecrated as a saint any day now.
Saint Quill.
Kind of looks at Oriana,
Quill the humble.
full of himself.
Laughing.
Full of himself, you said.
No.
And he chuckles.
Wait, Natasha, did we tell you about the train?
Yeah, we're gonna say you had that conversation.
We definitely didn't, but okay.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna say you had that
We
conversation.
just covered everything, yeah.
We're gonna say you had that conversation quickly while Oriana was speaking to Jareth. Unless
That
you'd
makes sense.
actually like to spend the next 3 hours telling Natasha in minute detail what has happened since the last time we saw it.
No, God no, thank you.
Cool. There's a train, it's got some tentacles. My cousin's dead.
Eat brains.
Eats brains. My cousin's dead.
I'm
Yeah.
supposed to have a date with the prince, but the Inquisitor ruined it, and now we're here.
Yes.
One last thing. We sent a young girl with you recently. Is she okay?
She is, I suppose, safe. It is, difficult
That
to
was
say
comforting.
whether she will be okay. She's, how you say, willful.
It's a young girl.
There are very many young women I have met, not quite so willful as this one. She is...
I know what you mean.
Most people, like yourselves, you go out sometimes to find trouble, but more often than not, trouble finds you.
That's really true.
If this girl, if there is no trouble in 5 minutes, she will probably go and find some.
I'm sure she's fitting in
Good.
well in that quiet village. They must have missed someone like that since Oriana left.
Well, funny you should say, she has been threatened with spoon. About 10 times already.
Good.
Then she is doing fine.
She's bang on track.
That doesn't sound right. Spoon?
My granny. would
That's
be-
child abuse.
No, I definitely deserved it.
She is only threatened with the spoon.
You're-
Yeah.
Natasha.
Do not worry,
It was
Quill.
mostly
You're-
threatened with the spoon. You only hit with the spoon when you really did deserve it.
And your cousin is much too quick for ancient gnome. Unless she catches her while she sleeps.
It's a different time, Quill. Back there. It's
It was a
historic.
different time back there. A different time in that place.
Yes, absolutely.
Trust me, Quill, she'll only actually get hit by the spoon if she does something to really deserve it.
Like murder, or
I was hit with the spoon and I turned out fine. I can't believe I'm travelling with boomers.
We will stay close by in
my parents never
city
used a spoon.
so that if you discover any more information or you need us, we will be at hand.
You should come watch us fight tomorrow.
Perhaps.
Maybe we'll end up with some more pets.
I think I've got my hands full.
I have seen a small part of what is in store for you tomorrow. I do not think pet is the right way to go with this one.
Oh,
Oh, do
we
tell.
knew this. No, we knew this. We knew the answer. Bri, I can't remember what we were told, but we did know the answer.
Dragon automaton.
Dragon
It feels like-
automaton.
It's been such a long day. It honestly feels like months ago that we had our last bout.
Dragon automaton. It's going
We
to
should
be.
probably really get to sleep.
I agree.
I'm gonna I go and put the nightmare in Cerberus back to bed.
I wander around. I slap Jaros on the back and go, "Good to see you."
I just have this image of like like Oriana gently tucking, like lying the nightmare down and putting a cozy blanket over it, and just gently
Feelings
tucking
away
it
immediately.
Yeah,
while the
immediately.
blanket starts to smoulder. Gentle kiss on his forehead.
Definitely.
Horse looks at you with adoration.
I come back out and go to Jarrus and is like, do you have a place to stay tonight?
I have to report in.
Okay.
And
If you
then
feel like murdering any of them in their sleep, I'd be okay with that. Just throwing
You
that
can
out.
blame it on us.
We did it.
They couldn't possibly hate us more than they currently do.
Mm-hmm.
I can try. Don't hold out
Worth a
much
shot.
hope, though.
Hey, did we tell you that I scratched the Inquisitor's face?
He looks at you. Well, you think he's looking at you. The helmet is pointed straight at you. Long
Yeah,
and
he was
hard.
pissed.
I would have liked to have seen that.
Do you know
It
what's
was
really
fun.
weird?
No.
It wasn't blood that ended up under Quill's claws.
No, it was gross.
Yeah, the elves are all rotten.
Like so rotten.
I don't know
and
if
dead.
they all are, but that one.
Well, yeah, not all. The prince isn't.
It was
but
like
most.
it was like kicking a pumpkin that's been left out several weeks after Fantasy Halloween.
No.
That is a lovely thought. Thank you. And I think I'll keep that thought as the one in my mind that stops them from reading any further into the conversations we've had tonight.
Think pumpkin.
Think pumpkin.
Good luck. Tomorrow.
Good luck.
Bonne chance.
Well, you know, if you're still alive, you know where we'll be tomorrow night.
And he walks out of the courtyard.
I wave to everyone else, and as I'm starting to wander off, I turn around to Ori again. I think he's warming to us, you know.
A little bit.
That's
Yeah, right.
Stefan's a polite young man.
Isn't he just? He seems very, pure and
Upright.
righteous.
Forthcoming,
Um,
little bit
Okay.
emotional.
I turn to everyone else and go, do you all have places to stay tonight?
They kind of look around the city, some of it jutting above the walls of the encampment. We can find somewhere.
Are you sure there's a festival on? It's you might find that it's a little crowded.
Oh.
She takes her hat from her side, puts it on her head, and suddenly there is an incredibly beautiful, very obviously aristocratic, very wealthy female elf standing in front of you. And what, my dear, makes you believe that I could not find a room tonight in this fair city?
Night, Natasha.
Good night.
If you get a chance, there is a crazy gnome in a basement that's quite fun to talk to. And I direct her to Auntie Anne's. Or Auntie
I
Anne's,
really thought you were
as
just
say.
going to leave her with the instructions of a gnome in a basement. It's like, yeah, just check all the basements.
Any basement.
One of them's got a gnome in it.
Not all the gnomes are constrained. There is one. He's fucking bonkers, though. Good night! And then I really am going to leave.
Okay. And they leave as well.
I wave to Clint to the window.
There's a moment, and then you hear shouted across the night sky, "No star dice."
Bonne nuit!
And you are left alone in the courtyard. Until a door opens behind you, and a large, very large form walks out, and Dom is standing there. Strange company you keep.
They came to remind us of the extraordinarily long list of things that we need to do.
So long.
Can you perhaps recruit some? They look able.
They are, but are already employed.
They're a little busy, I think, to take part in the combats.
The muscly blonde one. He looks strong.
Yeah,
He
he's
is.
a big damn hero.
He was very polite. He blushes often.
He's very young.
It was quite amusing.
He's much younger than he looks, Dom. Be careful.
Yeah, mind your language around him.
Do you?
We're kidding. No. No, we don't. No.
So,
Hey!
you had successful battle today. Another battle tomorrow.
Yes.
Sleep.
Robo
Rest.
dragon.
We have to fight
Yes.
an automaton.
Good
a
night.
dragon automaton.
Good luck.
I've just gone to bed.
Okay.
I've just given up. I'm like, yeah, I'm gone.
Dom walks back into their rooms and closes the door behind them.
Okay. I'm still standing in the corridor, like mid-sentence, like... Okay.
Once I am alone, I need to cast Sending to the Prince.
Okay. Cool. So once you're alone, you cast Sending to the Prince. What would you like to say?
Inquisition forces pull from front. Front line's one word, right?
Yeah.
From front lines. 2 days march from city. Are you okay after following Inquisitor? So the last time I left him was the time the Inquisitor was heading to see the matron mother.
It does take a moment for the response to come back. You imagine that the prince is considering his words carefully, considering the request you've made of him for information, but also the very worrying news you've just
Info
given him
drop.
as well.
Okay, your city's about to be invaded. You okay?
Matron Mother is fine, as am I. Torture was stopped. Who told you of the forces arrayed against the city?
Bounty hunter hired by Inquisitor. Inquisitor has his son. We have deal with bounty hunter.
Second use of the spell.
I trust him.
Okay. Thank you for telling me. I need more evidence before I can act. Be careful tomorrow. My money is on you.
Should fucking hope so.
Send scouts. And then I'll do my best. Good night. Sweet dreams.
No.
Good night,
Well, you were
Oriana.
going to say sweet prince.
Good night, sweet friends.
Good night, Oriana. Sleep well.
I'm going to meditate to my god and then go to sleep.
Okay. Is there anything else anyone else wants to do before they get their head down for the night? No?
No, I will do a little thought prayer-ish moment where I reassure my god that I haven't forgotten his gnomes. I'm just busy,
Okay.
but I'm working on it.
Okay.
Yes, I've forgotten his name. Shut up.
No. Oriana and Dice then, even though you are in separate places right now, I'd like you to roll me a religion check, please.
Landel Steelskin. Sorry, yeah, religion.
20. Not that, but 20.
Okay,
Dirty 20.
I got 17, so 18, 19, 20, 21. No,
Filthy goblin.
22.
Okay. As you form your words or meditative thoughts in your mind, and send them out into the ether. You feel, as you have done previously, when you're trying to beseech Phantal Steelskin or Hades, you feel the words are sent out. They do leave, and they do stretch out along the divine channels that you have spoken them on before. And you get the sense that your words have been heard. But there's no response. Not even a feeling, not even a sense of being listened to, that your words have been understood. It seems the passage of your words out worked. You haven't got anything coming back. You both kind of look back on it. It's pretty much been this way since arriving in Paras.
It's fine. As long as he knows, that's fine.
Quill? Nothing you wanted to do?
No.
Very well. With that, with you all then bedding down for the evening, for your long rest, which you can all now take in the safety of your rooms, I think we'll take a break there. I know it might seem slightly sooner than normal, but I know what's coming. So yeah, we're going to take a break.
We're already starting now.
Yeah. Good point. We're going to take a quick break there. So we don't have to take a break in the middle of anything that might come next. Yeah, so we're back. Hey everyone. Woo! We're back.
Holy shit,
back.
we did it. We did a whole half a session of D&D.
I know.
Yeah.
Best day ever.
We did
And
that.
I feel like I can do the second half as well.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
We did that last time though, when we played Distant Hum. We did half a session, and then at the end of it, we all just kind of went, "Oh fuck." It'll go up on YouTube as session 1 and session 1.5 all in one video.
You're all just cowards. You didn't want me to kill your characters because I've been telling you that I'm going to kill all your characters.
Telling me to kill my character.
What's Owen on about?
He
Got killed in
little
Phasmo
goblin.
because he was
He's
eating
just a
cream.
little goblin.
He's a little
He's
goblin.
only worth 1 XP. He drops no good items.
He's only a little goblin.
Okay.
No, don't kill me, Mr. Adventurer. Don't hit me with your
I'm
sword.
a level 1 goblin. I do like that. But yes, we are back, at least for this evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very, very much for waiting. I hope you guys are enjoying, and I hope you stick around for the second half. We will be back in about 10-15 minutes.
Also, yeah.
8 o'clock.
20 minutes.
Peace out, guys.
Okay, see you in a bit. Hello! Welcome back.
Hey.
Part
Because he doesn't
2
love me.
of episode 77 of the Chronicles of Nidum. That comment needs no explanation. So yes, here we are. And where we left off. You had just gone to bed. You completed your long rest after meeting some friends. Some old friends, some new friends. Giving information, learning a little. You now find yourself waking next morning, ready for the bout of the day.
We're about ready.
As you make your way out into the courtyard and breakfast is being prepared, you can already hear, even just after dawn, the noise of the crowd gathering outside the walls, as it had the previous day. It seems louder. There seems to be much more energy about the people outside the walls. After having seen your first bout, they're very much looking forward to the next one. You see Dom wave you over to a table.
I wave.
Over.
So, it's your breakfast, and I will take you to Colosseum. Your bout has been moved.
Of course it has.
It was to be in, again, the proving grounds, the smaller Colosseums on the outside of the inner, much larger arena. However, you have garnered much respect, fame, in your short time in Paris, so they have moved back to a larger arena. It will still be... Sorry.
No, that's fine. Carry on.
It will still be under illusion to give, I suppose, more excitement, entertainment for crowd. But it is strange, being outside illusion and looking in to watch. We do not see always same things you do, but it's pretty, I suppose.
That worries me. Could things happen inside the illusion that the viewers wouldn't even be aware of?
I do not know how illusion works.
Right, what do I think, based on my experience of the previous illusion, having seen the magic at work?
Roll me an Arcana check.
All right. I can't. I've hidden my D20 under a D4 because I was making a tower. Hang on. Oh, nice. Arcana check is 26.
26.
17 plus 9.
Okay. With that question in your mind then, looking back at the illusion you stepped into last time, and remembering how everyone, or your opponents and yourselves, seem to hide behind the stone towers on the beach that you found yourselves in last time. How Oriana, who flew quite high above all of you, didn't seem to fly out of the illusion. But how the stone towers seemed real, which would be impossible for an illusion. You've heard of the spell Hallucinatory Terrain? There are other spells that can shape reality. There are other spells that shape the matter of the world. It would appear to be some kind of combination of a lot of these spells. So you get the idea that it's probably being cast by more than one mage at the same time. Or more than one arcane or divine magic user.
Okay.
For that matter, if one of them was to perhaps show one illusion to the crowd and a different one to you, depending on how many were doing it, then yes, absolutely. One could showed the crowd something completely different was happening to you than actually was. You get the image of the crowd seeing a completely even battle, which rages on, entertaining for everybody, whereas for you, waves and waves of inquisitorial guard keep getting released on you until finally you all fall at their feet.
I have concerns about the illusion.
I don't think there's anything we can do about it.
I explain sort of my thoughts around it. Is
Yeah.
there a way?
Would suck, but I really don't think there's something other than trying to find who is casting the illusion and counterspelling it.
Dom, is there a way to get the illusions turned off?
I do not know anything about illusion.
Perhaps the prince could do it? I don't know.
If I were to find the mages, but I would assume they are protected.
They would be. It's okay. We will face whatever is thrown at us and hope for the best. And hopefully it'll be fair this time, but it's something to keep in mind for the future, maybe. I don't think they would want to kill us too quickly, so I don't know if they would even act today, but it does give them scope to act.
You can send message, yes?
Yes.
Quickly?
Yeah?
Does it take a spell?
Yes.
Do you have a way of sending message without spell?
Sure, hang on. And I go rifling through my bag and pull out a pair of sending stones and go, these work.
Dom holds out their hand for one.
I give one over, I've got the other one.
I mean, I can, but it's 120 feet and I've got to be able to see them.
Yes, so I would not ask you to use magical power to do so and put yourself at disadvantage when you really require your spells. But if there is cheating, if there is something happening to you that the crowd cannot see, if there are too many, or it is unfair, send message on stone and I will do what I can.
Thank you. That's very reassuring. I appreciate that. If something like that did happen, if you could get to the prince, he may be your best bet for someone who might be able to step in and help.
I will try.
It was just a thought, but not a welcome one.
Push any thoughts of loss out of your mind. You will win.
Oh, we're champions.
We'll never lose.
I am certain. I will see you after the match.
Thank you, Dom.
But come, we have Colosseum to get to.
Let's go ride in our chariot.
Yay!
The carriage is prepared. The gates are opened, and a few of the prince's guard file in to take up their stations on either side of the on both sides of the carriage.
Morning.
They smile, nod to you. One kind of passes, or holds a hand up and passes a note to you, Oriana.
I take the note and open it.
My dearest Oriana,
I immediately make sure so it's like facing away from everyone so they can't read it over my shoulder.
It has come to my attention that there is perhaps forces rallied against you that have created an opponent that is perhaps too powerful for you to overcome. Please, please know that if at any point you believe you will lose the match. If you were to yield to your opponent, I would not request your opponent finish the match. I would allow you to exit the battle with your lives.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I'll just turn to the guys, like, if we yield, he won't have us finished off. You're muted.
You won't see it.
Possibly.
Definitely.
But I can send to him directly if we need.
How
I hope
generous
so.
of him.
He wouldn't have done anyway. It's not that. It's the normal rules, I think. But I am seriously concerned that there is a lot of danger here today.
Nah, we've got this. Come on, let's go.
I love your optimism today.
And with that,
All I have left.
the carriage driver flicks his reins, and you begin to pass out further into Paras. Into a wall of sound that just kind of hits you as you get out. People start cheering. Everyone is incredibly excited to see you. They can't get enough of you. You start getting, again, coins and things pelted at the carriage. There's no more kind of the odd rotten fruit that you had before. None of that appears now. It is just a constant kind of barrage of coins and flowers. There are more than a few kind of letters chucked in there. You get like the kind of sweet scent of a lot of aftershave from a lot of the letters, crudely written notes on them. And you see the men that kind of have thrown the notes at you, like kind of salivating, looking at you. Quite a few of them are addressed to Quill. You also see quite a
Addressed
few.
to Quill?
You also see quite a few in quite beautiful handwriting. And you get a sweet, subtle perfumes coming from them. A lot of women behind their fans, kind of waving coyly at you.
All of those notes are just crude drawings of dicks.
Unsolicited dick drawings.
Unsolicited dick drawings. This is mine. Do you like it?
You drew it soft. Why would you draw it soft?
I look at a particularly wonky one and go, but why would you be honest, though?
But eventually,
Just to scale,
Someone unravels like a receipt. Heck, this one's got a high opinion of themselves. Potato Prince. Oh God, no! Can you imagine?
it's the wonky one that you mentioned. I've met that guy.
One of them looks like a radish.
If it folds the paper like this, it's like it's talking.
But eventually,
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
you do make
Tiddly
your way through the crowd. You see the Colosseum begin to stretch up and take on over the horizon and take up much of what you can see all around you. As Jarrus predicted, you look now in all of the windows, the many, many windows surrounding the circular building. And whereas yesterday there appeared to be maybe one Inquisitor for every royal guard, it looks more now like 2, maybe 3 to 1. The royal guard constantly looking out at the crowd to make sure that there is no unrest, no fighting. Everyone's keeping quite calm and civilized. The Inquisitors, every single one of them, hundreds of eyes following your carriage as you pass. Are you just gonna do this the entire time?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Ori will join me. We'll both be sitting there going,
Yeah, my arms come out from behind, like underneath Dice's arms, so it's like Dice has got 4 arms that
we do a little dance as we go.
find a way somehow to make the ends of my wings look like they're flipping you off as well, somehow.
Yeah, I keep casting Mage Hand, and the Mage Hand is also flipping them off.
We're just, at this point, I think we've decided whatever will be, will be.
Okay. So, as you are drawn into the shadows of the tunnel, then further into the Colosseum, the gates close behind you, shutting out much of the noise of the crowd that followed you. Dom steps off the carriage, looks towards the door. It is perhaps too late now, but if you succeed today, perhaps I could join you.
Join us? For in the ring, or?
Yes, there. I worry that forces against you perhaps will make this unfair. You have put this doubt in my mind, Dice. And we have spent short time together, but I like you.
Oh.
We like you too.
If you require additional sword at your side, you can have mine.
We greatly appreciate that.
It would be an honor to fight alongside you.
Yeah, I give Dom like a bow in my armor.
Survive then. And next time we fight together, yes?
I would very much like to survive through today.
Good luck. May the gods be with you.
They usually are.
Dom steps back. The doors at the end of the tunnel begin to open. You guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah, as ready as we're gonna be.
Let's do this.
Charge.
Okay. As you make your way then towards the end of the corridor, you see the arena arrayed out in front of you. Sand of the arena, untouched, unblemished, recently raked, perhaps, completely flat, no cover. The arena is huge. You can see the massive crowd just on the opposite side of the arena. But as you step out of the door, you are immediately encompassed in the illusion. The crowd is gone. The sand replaced by rocks at your feet. The ceiling maybe 30 feet tall at its highest. Small cave systems and tunnels seem to branch off to the left and to the right of you. And far off in the distance and at the opposite side of this huge cavern, you see what appears to be a large, very delicately decorated metal box. A box is almost not giving it enough credit. The size there, it's like the lower floor of a house. It is then you begin to hear the sounds of gears turning. You begin to hear the sound of steam, hydraulic suspension shifting. And you see the bursts of air begin to come from this box as it begins to shift and unfold. All at once, two parts inside the box flick over the sides, one to the left, one to the right, and you see two metal but muscular arms, clawed hands gripping into the ground and crushing rock beneath it. The dragon begins to unfold in front of you. I would like everyone to roll initiative, please.
Now! You can't make me fight a Dargon.
You can, though.
I mean, he fully can, yes. I'm hoping him moving over there will make the camera go, oh, he's not there.
I think it's focusing on his microphone.
I don't even know. No, because the microphone's not in focus either. Even
Yeah,
that
not now, because he's moved.
just rubbish.
What did you guys get?
Not much.
17.
Oh, you got more than me.
What did Ace get?
Oh god, ace.
Yeah, that's why I thought I'd mention it.
Yeah, I should open the character sheet really.
Right, try getting your camera to realise that you exist.
I do exist. Here I am.
Very fuzzy.
Sorry.
Right. We think it might think that your microphone is your face.
I'm very small in the stream now, so it doesn't matter.
Good.
Okay, so the dragon unfolds in front of you. And can I please take Ace's initiative?
Yes, you may. 18.
Awesome. Dice?
17.
Oriana?
16.
Quill?
11.
Ah, you broke it.
Sorry.
Okay,
Alright.
so
Not that.
first things first, Ace.
Okay, what are we looking at here? Pop that back.
Automaton dragon.
Sorry?
Automaton dragon.
Yes, thank you, darling. I was sort of more so asking what are we looking at in terms of the space, you know?
It is huge. It is currently larger, as you look at it, than any monster you have ever seen or faced before. You would probably describe it as, gargantuan.
Don't want to describe it as gargantuan.
Okay, I think that as a bonus action,
Mm-hmm.
Ace will reach out and touch Quill,
Yeah.
casting Shield of Faith,
Okay.
first level.
Cool.
I can't actually cast spells.
That's fine.
obviously,
I'll open Ace now and I'll get
yeah,
it.
if you can tick the things for me, so that's the first level one. So that gives Quill +2 to AC.
Mm-hmm.
Ace will then move up, not their full 30 feet, but let's say 20 feet. And I think throw a javelin at it.
You want Ace to throw a javelin at it?
I do.
Okay. So they're going to
Am I
move.
allowed?
Yeah, 20 feet closer to it, and then
Yeah,
javelin.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that should be in 20, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, 25 feet closer, because that brings it in normal javelin range.
What is normal javelin range?
30.
30.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that'll hit it. Well, it might.
It might. Let's see. I reckon it's going to hit. That's a 25 to hit.
25 to hit. Yes, it hits. Roll the damage.
I'm very relieved to hear that. Let's see. Just traits. Do forgive me. I'm catching back up. It's only melee weapon attack for smite, so this is just going to be a regular. That is 3 damage plus 5, so 8 damage in total for that.
8 damage in total.
They can make 2 attacks. I don't know if they have a second javelin. Do you happen to know how many javelins Ace is carrying?
Give me a second. Yes, 4.
Okay, excellent. Actually, do you know what? No, yeah, let's stick with the javelin. Why not? 19 to hit.
Okay.
No, sorry, I lied. 23 to hit.
23 definitely hits.
Cool. That is another 8 damage, please.
Cool. So both of the javelins sail through the air in quick succession. You see them piercing the dragon. But as it does so, the energy from inside the dragon, you can see its scales kind of just expand and ripple. And while it appears the dragon has taken damage, the javelins just burst into flame and fall from it.
Don't love that.
Is that the end of Ace's go?
I think that's pretty much all they can do, yes.
Okay. Dice.
How far away from him am I?
You are currently... 60 feet.
That'll do. I'm going to try using heat metal on it.
Yeah, can heat metal be done at range?
It's 60 foot, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's not a touch spell.
Alright.
And it's a manufactured metal object, so, I mean, the whole thing's a manufactured metal object, so you can pick which bit I'm heating.
It is absolutely a manufactured metal object.
Please don't heat any of the hitting bits.
Okay. So, can you
I'm
do me
aiming for the chest.
Okay, can you do me a favour and read out heat metal for me, please?
Yeah, choose a manufactured metal object, such as a metal weapon or a suit of heavy or medium metal armour that you can see within range. You cause the object to glow red hot. Any creature in physical contact with the object takes 2d8 fire damage, although No, 2d8's fine. 2d8 fire damage. When you cast the spell. Until the spell ends, you can use a bonus action on each of your subsequent turns to cause this damage again. If a creature is holding or wearing the object and takes damage from it, the creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or drop the object if it can. If it doesn't drop the object, it has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the start of your next turn. And so on each time I do the damage.
Can you repeat the holding bit for me, please?
Yep, so if a creature is holding or wearing the object and takes damage from it, the creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or drop the object if it can. If it doesn't drop the object, it then has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the start of my next turn. And it can't drop the object because it is it.
And you said you were aiming for the chest, yeah?
Yeah.
Roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Deep inside this.
Don't think you wanted us to find that out that fast. 21.
Okay. As you raise your hand then, in your own way beginning to scribble the calligraphy of your spells, shooting the power towards the chest of the dragon, you notice something very familiar. A recess you had up until recently in the chest of your own armor. A recess you fitted a docent into the chest of an old friend who passed in your service, who then became the new incarnation or avatar of Vizier. A recess you yourself have spent a lot of time researching in all of the other automatons you have tried to free up until this point. There is, in the center of the dragon's chest, another docent. Slightly larger than the one in which you found Vizier's consciousness. But it is being held in place by the same magical sphere that you have previously broken through to free the other automatons. As your spell hits, it begins to heat the metal around the docent. How much damage does it do?
Only 2d8. It's not massive.
Okay. But it has to roll a Constitution saving throw?
So the initial heat metal
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have a save.
Okay, cool. Kill you all before his next turn. Right, cool.
The Constitution saving throw
Happens on your every turn thereafter.
it doesn't really specify. If a creature is holding or bearing the object and it takes damage from it, which it will,
Yeah.
the creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or drop the object if it can. It doesn't say. It just says if it doesn't drop the object, it has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the start of your next turn. So I think it's immediate. I think it's part of the heat metal.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no save on it.
Cool. Awesome.
You gave us the warning that it was a dragon. Why wouldn't I have heat metal prepared? You want the damage?
Yes, please.
Okay. It might come out as like 2. You might be alright. I'm not trying to fuck up your encounters, but it just sort of happens. 12.
12 points of damage. And it rolls.
It's got to beat 17.
He's made a point in the chat.
Any creature in contact. No one else is in contact with it though, but the
Unless the spirit inside has got its own.
docent might take damage too. We understand what you meant, AD. We're with you. Don't worry, buddy. We're there.
So, you can see the dragon reel as you appear to have targeted a vulnerability. And it screeches in pain. Though the roar from this dragon is much more metallic than you expected. It does, however, use one of its legendary resistances to negate the natural one it rolled on its Constitution saving throw. And holds on to the docent in its chest. Is that the end of your go?
No.
No. Okay.
No, it's only a little thing. As a bonus action on this turn, because that was my full action, and I can't use the bonus action until the next turn for that, I'm going to activate the defensive field on my Guardian armor. Just add 11 temporary hit points to myself.
Cool. Oriana.
Ooh, so I'm going to cast a 4th level Shatter.
Ooh.
So I need a Constitution saving throw at a disadvantage because it's made of metal.
Oh shit, really?
Yep.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Fuck! So it rolled
Will's going for a nap.
So it rolled a 3 plus 11.
Mm-hmm.
So 14. What's your save?
18.
It's going to use another legendary resistance. Does that half the damage?
It'll take half the damage.
Okay.
Just half 5d8s.
30. Fuck.
So
Okay.
it takes half 32. It doesn't take the full 32, it takes half of 32.
So 17 points of damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to fly up.
Roll a d20 for me.
God, you remembered after all this time?
I think he's just trying to come up with something to extend his
Nat 20.
Fuck. Okay. No wild magic surge this time.
Nope. I am going to fly up and move a little bit closer, so somewhere between where Dice and Ace are. And then I'm also going to give Bardic Inspiration to Quill.
Okay.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay. Well, you are next.
Yeah.
Am I, or is the dragon?
Brian may be rolling his worst dice. I don't know. This isn't going very well for
I
him.
think so, okay.
This is when the second robot dragon stands up.
Yeah, I hope not.
Okay. So you fly in. You're up in the air. With your movement, you're maybe about 15 feet in the air. And the amount you've moved forward. Is that the end of your go?
It is, yes.
Cool. Quill.
Hello. How's that dragon looking?
Considering every one of you has landed a solid hit on it up until now, up until yourself, having not gone yet, it's looking all right.
Okay. And I've seen that. Presumably, I could see that Dice was targeting that sort of chest area. Did I get the same sort of impression of the whole docent situation as Dice did?
Roll me a perception check.
Will do. I think I did. Yeah, 21.
Yeah. First and foremost, you notice that the reaction of the dragon when it was hit by Dice's spell was greater than it was of the others. You notice the metal glow in like a circle around the docent as it reeled back in pain. And there was, or did seem to be, like a kind of electrical charge around the docent as it resisted letting it go.
Okay. How high up is the sort of chest where the docent resides?
Oh, the dragon at the moment, then, its wings are almost touching the ceiling, which is about 30 to 40 feet above you. As it's reeling up now, kind of standing on its back legs, towering above you all, the docent is about 20 feet off the floor.
Interesting.
How many legendary resistances do we think this thing's got?
More than it had when the encounter started.
You mean less than it had?
No, Brian's just adding more on. Because it's used to.
Okay. I'm going to start by casting haste on myself.
Of course.
And then I am going to... So let's see, distance-wise, my... Oh, and I'll use a bonus action to activate the Blade Song, of course, as well.
Mm-hmm.
So my normal walking speed is 40 feet, plus Blade Song...
Which is, what, 50 feet?
adds 10, yeah, so that's 50 feet.
Haste is 100 feet.
So, yeah, haste 100 feet speed, and then obviously I have feline agility as well. So what I want to do, basically, is use my, like, really tremendous speed to run from where I am up Ace's armoured back and just catapult myself towards this dragon as high into the air as I can.
Okay.
And then sort of acrobatically, like, try to fling myself up the dragon towards the sort of heated chest plate.
Okay.
And then I want to use the extra action that I get from haste to try and make a scimitar attack, essentially to dig my scimitar in where the edge of the armor plating meets this docent and try and, like, lever it out.
Kate could be so proud.
Okay. Okay.
Launching a tabaxi launching itself at a dragon. It's Cake's like whole legacy.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
As you begin to launch yourself forward, then the only one looking at you, Dice, you see Quill just blur away from you. It is Quill instantly moves faster than your eyes can follow.
Oh, fuck.
You see the blink of Quill as they appear on top of Ace, who does not even have time to kind of brace or need to brace under the weight of Quill.
One Sanix, please.
As the weight of Quill leaves Ace's back, before they even realize he's there. Roll me an acrobatics check.
Okay. I have inspiration, so I'm going to use my inspiration.
Okay.
Like regular DM inspiration, not the bardic inspiration. So I'm going to use inspiration to roll this at advantage. That's a natural 20. For a total of 28, if that matters to you.
He choked.
I killed him. I've killed him. I killed the DM with my nat 20.
It was a good encounter.
I don't know why I fucking play with you guys anymore. Right. Okay, so you leap through the air, beautifully pirouetting so that your feet touch the dragon first. In the same moment as your feet touch the dragon, and because you are now standing on the heated metal of the chest, potentially begin to take damage. You take your scimitar
I'm so fast.
and jam it in, or attempt to jam it in between the docent and the metal housing. I would like you to roll me an attack, please.
Okay, does the nat 20 on my acrobatics check, is that enough to get me advantage on the attack?
I'd be
28.
I'd be an absolute dick if I said no, wouldn't I?
Thank you very much. Right, I'm... Charlie, what's your inspiration dice at the moment?
Now you're asking.
I'm guessing D8, but
1d8.
Yeah.
1d8. I'm gonna add this on only because it's like a cool shot. So if I were you, I'd be making it a higher AC. So I'm assuming you're doing the same thing. So that is 28.
It hits.
Sweet.
Roll for damage.
Okay, so because I had advantage on the attack, that's sneak attack included, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's still not going to be that much. I'm like quite a low level rogue, but D6 for the scimitar. Sneak attack. It's just 2d6. Like I say, the damage is not going to be tremendous, but it's more the like what I'm trying to do. That is 12 plus scimitar is plus 6, 18. Yeah, 18 damage.
18 points of damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you jam the scimitar in them, the energy around it, the energy encompassing it and holding it in the chest begins to flare and flicker. It uses its final legendary resistance
Sweet.
to
Gotta do
power
my next
back
spell at
up.
higher level.
And unfortunately, while you feel the docent loosen, it does not pop out.
Interesting.
However, as you look at it, the housing around the docent now is fucked.
I think I've done everything I can. I used a bonus action to use the blade song. Action to cast haste, and the extra action is just one weapon attack, so I can't. Yeah, I think I'm done. So I'm gonna basically. I'm hoping you'll let me do this as a continuation of my acrobatics check. Just sort of like backflip away from it, and move into cover behind that rock there.
Roll me a acrobatics check.
Sure. That's a 21.
21. Yes, you manage to backflip off the dragon and move away from it. Do you have mobile?
Do I have the mobile feet? That is a good question.
Did you take mobile?
Yes.
You
I do
did?
have feet. I do have mobile yet.
You can disengage, can't you?
Fine.
I don't need to disengage.
Oh, right, yeah, you can move away without taking an attack of opportunity.
Bry's so mad right now.
Okay, so that's the end of your go.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. It's the dragon's turn.
It's gonna go in the corner and cry.
Okay. So. The dragon, at the end of your turn, uses 3 of its legendary actions. You hear, as you leap and run away from the dragon, a ringing sound begin to build. And as you look at the dragon from around the rock, you notice that its scales seem to be vibrating. And as the vibration speeds up, the ringing sound builds and builds and builds until it is painfully intense. And suddenly it erupts in a huge, booming wall of sound that radiates out about 15 feet away from its form. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw, please, Quill.
Okie doke.
Spell?
7.
7.
Yeah.
Okay. You take 7d6 thunder damage as the wave of sound hits you. You take 24 thunder damage.
Is it casting a spell?
It is not.
No.
Okay.
24.
It is using a physical ability. Sorry, were you asking for clarification then? No, it's 24. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've taken it.
Cool. Okay. And it is now the dragon's turn. So, it is going to stalk further towards you all.
Donk, 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 donk. Oh, it's back to Quill. That's a choice.
Hmm.
And it is going to use its ability called Sapping Presence. I would like 60 feet. Everyone to make a wisdom saving throw.
Do we get advantage on those with...
Ace
Really?
nearby.
Only if we're within 10 feet, I think. And it's just a plus, isn't it? I don't think it's advantage.
Yeah, none of you are close enough to Ace right now to get advantage.
I can't even see where Ace is.
In front
Where's
of
Ace?
Oriana.
Ah.
Hang on.
That's where I can see.
I'll make
That's
it.
right.
I'll make it easier to see.
It's alright, my save's fine. Well, it's probably not, but whatever.
Mine's okay. I think.
Mine sucks.
Oh, hang on. I'm going to use Flash of Genius against mine. I can.
I got 21.
Mine's fine now.
I got a 4 and Ace got a 21.
Cool. What was yours? Sorry, Dice.
With Flash of Genius, it's 18.
Okay. Even with Flash of Genius, then Dice and Quill, your speed is reduced to half, and you have disadvantage on attack rolls until the end of the dragon's next turn. Oriana and Ace are immune to this effect for the next 24 hours.
Woo!
Are you telling me that my speed is now only 50 feet?
Mm-hmm.
But,
It is then going to reel back its head, open its maw, and from its mouth bursts forth a cone of sickly green energy. I'm going to need Ace, Oriana, and Dice to make a dex saving throw.
Dex saving throw, dex saving throw. Can I have a
15 foot wide. How tall is it?
It's a 60-foot cone.
60 foot. Okay, that's fair enough.
16 for Ace.
That's not as good.
21.
Okay,
8.
cool. Okay, so
I'd give you Flash of Genius, sorry, but I don't think it would help. Maybe.
What was that for Ace, sorry?
16.
Okay. Ace and Oriana take 48 points of necrotic damage.
You're going to have to apply that yourself. I can't.
Dice, you take 24.
It's necrotic, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I've got resistance to necrotic.
So does Ace.
So does Ace. Yeah, correct.
Nice.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Sorry. I got the tattoo.
Oh,
Yeah.
also, I don't know if this matters to you, but I was wrong. Ace actually got 18.
Still would have failed.
Okay.
DC is 19.
How much damage did I take?
12.
12.
Because you
I've
saved and resistance.
lost 1 hit point.
Rip.
He's going to come in here and throw something at me in a minute.
No, I'm not like you. I like all of the caps we have. Mm-hmm.
Sorry to attack you.
And that is the... Well, with that, it's going to move closer to Ace.
Did you say that Ace had resistance to necrotic?
Yeah.
Yes. Ace has resistance
what?
to all.
Yeah, from spells.
Aura of warding.
Yeah, all damage from spells.
Oh, is it just spells?
Yeah.
Oh, Ace takes 48 points of damage.
Right, as I lost
Cool.
that much, I need to roll a concentration check for the heat metal.
Go for
I can't remember how.
it. Con saving throw.
It's just a constitution saving throw, yeah?
Mhm.
No, it's fine. 21?
Yeah, you're fine. Okay, that is the end of the dragon's go as it makes its way closer towards Ace. It is Ace's go.
Aces go.
It is now in base contact with the dragon.
Sorry, Quill also needs to make a con save to maintain haste.
Cool.
But I think I get something because of the blade sound.
You didn't take any damage.
Yeah, I did from the first thing. I took 24.
Well, oh yeah, from booming scales. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you called it. Yeah. I gain a +3 a +3 bonus to any con saves to maintain concentration. Okay, let's see. I think that's fine. 19. I don't know what's the how much is it? How much is a concentration save?
Give me a second. It's been a while. AD, if you're still in the chat, get me out. Or help me out, sorry.
Concentration check.
Someone help me out.
Blah blah blah. Player makes a Constitution saving throw against a DC of 10 or half the damage received, which has yeah, I'm fine. I took 24 damage, so it's
That's the one.
12.
10
and I
or
rolled
half the
19.
damage, I remember now.
Yeah, I got it.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, that's fine.
It's Ace's turn, yeah?
It is Ace's go.
Aces go.
Hit it really hard.
Yeah. So it's right in front of Ace now, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Is it flagged as well? Not flagged, what's the word?
No, because Quill's not close enough.
Flanked. Flanked is
Flanked,
the word.
that's the word, thank you.
Sorry, I am just looking briefly at the. abilities because I haven't played Ace for quite a while.
No problem.
I think what Ace is going to do is take a javelin and make an attack towards the towards where the docent is.
Oh, because it's so high up. Yeah, okay.
Effectively make a ranged attack with the javelin. So, attack roll. And again, I'm trying to wedge this in. It doesn't matter what I'm trying to do. That's a natural one.
Okay. The javelin.
4 javelins, you said that the Ace has, right?
Yeah, one left.
Okay.
This one
Last javelin.
sails straight over the dragon's, straight over the dragon, and is lost into the darkness behind it.
Yeah. This one's going. This one's going to go much better, and this one's going. I'm aiming for the point where the docent meets the heated, softened metal again. That's much better. That is a 26.
That definitely hits.
Had a feeling it might do. Do I have any? What does bonus action attacks? 2 weapon fighting, where you take the attack action and attack with a light melee weapon. If I have a weapon as a thrown property, you throw the weapon instead of making a melee attack. So I used a thrown weapon. Does that mean I can use a bonus action to use another thrown weapon?
Hang on, say that again?
2 weapon fighting. I threw a weapon. Does that mean I can throw another weapon with a bonus action?
Yes.
Okay. Ace is going to reach deep within them, to the memories of their time working the forge. Say a small prayer to their god and throw their +1 light hammer at the javelin.
Okay.
And in an attempt to drive it
Further in.
Drive it further in behind the docent.
Okay.
Here we go. That is 27 to hit.
27 definitely hits.
Hits the javelin.
Mm-hmm.
For 10 damage.
A further 10 damage.
But obviously the main thing I'm trying to achieve is not the damage, it's driving that javelin in to the sort of vital point we're focusing.
Mm-hmm. Dragon is going to roll Constitution saving throw, and that is a 21.
I don't suppose it has disadvantage on that concentration saving throw because of the weight of different effects being levied on that one particular area of the chest, by any chance.
27.
Cool, 21 it is.
Cool. Okay. Is that the end of Ace's go?
Yes, except that Ace is going to step up forward and to their left to be in sort of base contact with the dragon.
Okay.
I thought it already was in base contact.
It is in base contact with the dragon.
I thought it wasn't. Okay.
It's because it's on the ring binder.
It's on a tilt.
That's fine. Yeah, no, they'll stay there then. No problems.
Cool.
I'm really sorry, guys. I've got to make a quick phone call, but hopefully I'll be back by the time it comes around to Quill's turn.
Okay. And that is gonna be Dice's go.
Yeah. So, What can I do? Yeah, okay. I am going to cast a 3rd level shatter at the same point on the front of the dragon.
Okay. Okay.
It's a good call, and it's a spell I have too. I need a Constitution saving, please.
Yes.
With disadvantage. Because it's made of metal.
Oh, I haven't read the details. Yes, you're right.
If it's made of stone, crystal, or metal, has disadvantage on its saving throw.
Get my special disadvantage dice out.
You can use your little disadvantage dice.
Okay, that is that's a 27 and a 26.
I mean, yes, it succeeds. That's fine.
Okay.
Still takes half damage.
Mm-hmm.
Which is 4d8.
Okay.
Half of that. Give me a second. I've lost all my d8s, apparently. 3. 4. There we go. I found 4. All right. There's so many dice in this tray. It's actually getting a bit silly. Okay. 17. Whatever that is. Half of that.
8 points of damage.
As a bonus action, though,
You can
I'm going
heat
to-
the metal. Hang on.
I'm going to heat the metal.
Give me a second. Disadvantage. What's that? What's that one? What's your spell save DC, Mel?
17.
Okay. Yeah, it succeeds on holding on to the docent. Damage.
On the heat metal spell as well.
Well, no, I haven't done that one yet.
Oh, okay.
That was just because of damage taken to try and hold on to the docent.
Okay.
So another con save for the heat metal.
Another con save for the heat metal.
There you go. 14.
14. It fails. It takes 12, 13, 14 damage. 2d8. And it drops whatever has been heated if it can.
Or it holds on to it and has disadvantage, yeah?
If it is unable to, it must drop it if it fails, and it is possible for it to do so. That's how I got the guy with the sword.
Okay.
If it doesn't drop the object, it'll have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the start of the next turn.
As you see then, the metal on the dragon's chest glow almost white hot, surrounding the dark pewter of the docent. The dragon begins to shudder. Its movements become slower, more robotic. It goes down on all fours, almost crushing Ace.
Sorry.
And its back arches as the magical energy holding the docent cracks and explodes, and you see the docent fly out in front of the dragon, roll across the floor until it comes to a rest, gently bumping into your foot. Dice.
Are we still in initiative?
The dragon shudders, stops, and collapses. I'm going to need someone to roll me a dexterity saving throw for Ace.
Yeah, I can do that. Dexterity saving throw is... sorry, let me just check. I've got a situational bonus. They're not incapacitated, so plus 2, 17.
17, okay. They make the save, so they take half the damage. But they do still take some bludgeoning damage from the incredibly large, heavy metal thing that is collapsing down on top of them. Ace takes 12 points of bludgeoning damage as the weight of the dragon does almost shunt them out of the way, preventing them from being completely crushed.
Again, you're going to have to apply that damage for me.
Okay. And as the dust cloud from the dragon's fall settles, and you can all see clearly again, the illusion also shatters. The rock walls and the floor disappearing. The arena then coming into focus around you once more. Instead of the silence of the caverns, you are bombarded with the sound of the cheers of your audience.
Checking. A round is a person's go is 6 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how long is a round?
A round is 6 seconds.
A round is so we
'Cause
killed
you're
this
all-
thing in 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Barely that because I've only had one go.
Yeah, not even. Like,
About 10 seconds, give or take.
Woo!
We just wave.
Everyone make me a perception check.
Oh, yeah. I'm also going to bend and pick up the docent. In fact, rather than making a perception check, I'm going to bend and pick up the docent and hold it.
I'm going to...
14!
I rolled a 9 for Ace, which I'm going to say is because they're a little bit distracted climbing out from under a robot dragon. And I rolled garbage for myself as well, 11.
Okay.
So only Oriana's paying any attention. I'm like, look at this docent.
Okay. As you look around then, Oriana, you can see that the hundreds, perhaps thousands of people now watching this battle are in uproar. Some possibly because the battle didn't last too long, others because of the epic and amazing way in which you took the dragon apart so quickly. It is incredibly clear to you, however, just from looking around at a few select points, that the Inquisition, to a man, is not cheering. Every single one of them is looking at you. The High Inquisitor is not looking at the battle. He currently has his head bowed, and you see in the shadows, sitting near him, in a throne, quite close, but on a slightly lower tier than the prince. You see the Grand Inquisitor. You can see him whispering into the High Inquisitor's ear. And the High Inquisitor does not look happy about what he is being told.
Being chastised.
You said you'd kill them for me.
As you look a few tiers up, though, you do see the prince, and while everyone around him is cheering and clapping, the prince just kind of looks down at you all, puts his hand to his mouth, and blows a kiss towards the arena. And then just a very slow clap, like laughing to himself.
You done fucked up, eh, Ron?
Dom rushes into the arena. Well done. We must leave now.
We would like that.
Yes.
That sounds great.
And starts waving. Please, more speed, more haste, please.
I will do like a little bow and then scuttle off after them.
As you get back into the tunnel then and the doors close, Dom eventually kind of breathes a sigh of relief, but then turns to you all quickly. We have to go, I think, quickly. The Inquisition did, I think, not expect anyone to leave Arena today.
That's a pretty big miscalculation on their part.
And they just keep
Hopefully fine.
underestimating us.
Well, it did not take you long to defeat Dragon, so I could only find out small amount while you were in Arena, but it would appear that these dragons are new frontline attack automatons. They are.
Oh dear.
One being destroyed in an exhibition
It
doesn't
is-
look good on them.
The Empire has ordered 100 of them, and they are on their way to the front lines now. The
I hope that
Inquisition-
wasn't expensive.
It was prototype, apparently. The Inquisition.
So I suspect.
I mean, as long as people don't think maybe we aim for the glowing thing in the chest.
The Inquisition, I think, are hoping that such information does not make its way to enemy forces.
Would it be such a shame?
And the enemy forces would be
Gracia.
Yeah, who's they war with?
with Gracia.
Oh no, we must make sure they don't know.
I
Do you
don't
think?
know anyone in Gracia, but I can try something.
Do you think they're going to be unhappy that I stole this and I hold up the docent in my hand?
What is that?
What was powering the dragon?
Dom very quickly kind of steps close to you, so you're covered from all angles, even though there's no one else that you can see in the tunnel with you at the moment.
I flip my wings out a little bit as well to give a bit more coverage.
Perhaps do not tell anyone of spoils of war.
They watched Oriana walk out with Hellhound and a Nightmare. They can hardly.
Yeah, with the battery to their weapon.
And I'm a human.
Hellhound and Nightmare did not belong to Inquisition.
Then they shouldn't have sent it into the ring, and I will be more than happy to tell them that to their faces should they come to take it back. When we're inside the compound, though, we should go.
Yes, let us sleep.
Let's go. I'm sure that Phil would delight in helping me tell the Inquisition to shove it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dice. I'm always so polite.
The Inquisitor's face says so too.
Hmm.
You all get back on the cart. The Prince's Guard appear to have doubled in size. There are many more of them now.
Good.
And the carriage begins its way out of the Colosseum. You didn't believe previously that the crowd outside could get louder. You were wrong. There are this screams. You are rock stars as you make your way back through the town. The spell covering the carriage, stopping the coins being pelted. Whereas normally, like, a coin would hit it and it would flare a little, almost like a snowflake appearing on a window. The amount of money currently being thrown at your cart, it is impossible to see outside of the protective field. It is a constant barrage of objects being thrown at the cart in excitement to show their appreciation. And it is just a wall of noise and a constant pitter-patter of coins hitting the protective field around you. It takes a lot longer for the carriage, even with the amount of guards there are trying to, keep the crowd back. Some of them are trying to break through just so they can lay maybe a hand on you, or touch your hand as you pass. And after a good half an hour of what you know is a 5-minute journey by carriage, you eventually make it back to the encampment.
Once we're inside, can I try and talk to the docent when we get a chance?
Okay. You make your way inside. The guards gather up the money that has been caught by the ingenious design of the carriage. Kind of pass it all to you. In effectively copper and silver, you have made about 300 gold.
Cool.
We just give it to Dom
You think we just give it to Dom to fund
to use the Colosseum, yeah.
to fund the Gladiator Academy, yeah.
Dom takes it, nods in appreciation, and just walks off as the guards all kind of just smile at you. One rushes forward, and this is an elven guard now, rushes forward and grabs your hand, Dice, and just starts shaking it, vigorously, and says, "Merci, madame, merci. It was amazing. I got to watch it was seconds, but it was fantastic. You have on my next leave, I can take my wife and my children. We can travel to the south coast. It was an impossible holiday until now. The cost of it was so expensive, but now with the winnings I've made from just this battle alone, I can treat them to a lovely holiday. We can improve our house. It will be fantastic. Thank you, madam. Thank you." And he just...
You're very welcome.
and all the other guys are kind of sitting there, like standing there, they're clapping each other on the back, and you can hear like little snippets of, "How much did you win? Oh, I've made 100 gold. I made 250. And they're all very, very happy with you. They seem quite confident the prince has backed the right horse. And they're very, very
I've been
happy.
called a horse before, but okay.
But eventually, after much handshaking, they do jump back on the cart, and there's no pretense now of like all the facade of being a guard has gone. They've all jumped back on the cart instead of walking out with it, and they're all just kind of sitting there with their arms around each other, effectively going for a drink.
Lads on tour.
But eventually you are
Lads.
left alone in the courtyard.
Hurry, that elf shook my hand.
I saw. That was a thing.
Should I
You're
wash it?
changing hearts and minds.
Honestly, I'm just unnerved. He seemed very sweet, but,
It's proving what humans are capable of.
Well, sure, that too. I mean, Ace being squished by a dragon and coming out relatively unscathed, although you do have a dent here. You might need to panel
Bang it out.
Yeah. You gotta bang. When you spend your time polishing your armor, you should definitely bang out some dents.
Is it going to be safe for us to go to a party tonight?
Definitely
I don't know,
not.
We have a choice.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. Safe? No. Necessary? Eh.
Dom comes back out of their office, finding you all together, and hands you a wax-sealed scroll.
I open it.
I was going to say, Ori, I assume this is for you.
This was to be given to you when you eventually won. I thought...
Do you have another one for if we lost? Oh no, we'd be dead. Never mind, carry on.
Yet. I did think it strange that the prince had this delivered before battle, but it appears he is very confident in your abilities.
He should be.
I'm glad. I open it to read it.
Mademoiselles Organa, Dice, Monsieur Quill, and the wonderful Ace are invited this evening to the palace for a much more private affair than the display of the evening before. You will dine with the other winners and some select members of the Imperial Court. You will be allowed somewhat free reign of the ground floor of the palace, the awards or trophy room, and if you wish as well, the gardens. Please come unarmed at your pleasure. And that's it.
Unarmed? What on earth am I going to wear? Oh, right. And then I hide my armor under my sleeves.
I mean, I can't take my staff.
Seems like the prince is giving us an opportunity here, a little bit.
This
I mean, we've
is
got the boat, right?
this is normal for events such as this. There is a just a progression to the proceedings. So first,
Dom, I need your help.
very well.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say the first night is the garden party. The second wind then gets you the dinner. Then there is a dance in the honor of everybody, and the final will be, I believe, your crowning as victors and your free passage through the Empire.
Okay, I need your help with two things.
Da.
Mostly the first one. There is a very nice dressmaker in the city itself. I don't remember the name, bribe at Dicewood.
Mm.
They are holding clothing for Quill, Oriana, and myself, although Oriana did not know it was a surprise for her.
She's just going to ask, what am I going to wear tonight?
If we could find someone who is able to leave, who could go and collect it, obviously we would pay any transport, but we could really use that clothing.
We will send someone out.
I bought you a dress, Oriana. I thought that if you were going for dinner with the prince and things, it might be something you would like.
It's incredibly sweet of you, Dice. Thank you.
And if it helps, I'm pretty sure Quill bought himself an outfit because the gentleman questioned his dress sense, and so he bought an outfit. It was very clever. The sales technique was on par.
That was a sales technique?
Well, yes, of course. You were very finely dressed most of the time.
Oh no, I've been swindled. Well, I mean...
You got a new outfit.
Yes, I would have bought the outfit anyway.
And you knew it was a sales technique as you wound him up. I watched you do it.
Sounds like a wasted effort on his part.
He was nice. But yes, I think we will need something to wear that is a little less patched.
Hankies.
Will looks at his coat, like desperately seeking patches.
No, but Dice by this point does have like two patches of the leg of one side of her outfit because it's just been battered. And I keep getting it prestidigitated, but it's not the same.
It's exactly the same. Who's prestidigitating it for you?
Who do you
Ori.
think?
Ori's a competent enough sorcerer to prestidigitate a hole in your trousers.
Sure, but it's quite satisfying to put little patches on to cover over the damage caused by fighting. It's a memory of a time. No?
Memory of a time.
A memory of an interesting encounter, like the giant thunder worm in the thing before the beholder.
A behir.
No, yeah, we're here. Yes, we're here, we're there, we're everywhere.
This dress, Dice, what does it look like?
I honestly can't remember, so whatever you fancy. Something nice, I guess.
I'm sure it was very slutty.
Going to do that. No, I'm going to do that game trope where the fancy dress-up outfit actually covers more than the normal outfit.
Oh yeah,
Something like this.
that sort of thing. It was purple and it was very, very pretty. I just
Well, maybe not in purple, but in teal, because I've had Oriana in the past kick off when people tried to dress her in purple.
I would have known that it would be teal. We can
Yes.
retcon it. You weren't here. I think you were off for the evening, so
Okay.
yeah. I think mine was green. Let's go with the hair.
We complement each other.
So,
I'm
waiting.
going to go for a bath.
Oh my god, Ace has an outfit too. Thank you, Dom. I remember.
I was going to say waiting for the evening's events then. Is there anything you wanted to discuss, or are you just going to spend the time getting ready?
I want
Get
to
ready.
speak to the docent.
Oriana, would you like to send a message to Natasha to let her know that we're going to have somewhat freedom in the ground floor of the palace and gardens?
You should start it with "not dead yet."
I will send some messages to some people.
Okay.
Much appreciated.
What do you want to do first, Bri?
I'll do the messages first.
Okay. Let me go find my spell slots.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, one to Natasha.
Yeah.
We won. Heading to Palace tonight for dinner. May have some more freedom.
Is that all?
For her, yeah.
Okay. Her response comes back quite quickly. If one of you can hide, please see what you can find.
Okay. I'm going to send a message to Jaris.
Okay.
Saying going to Palace tonight for dinner. Do you know where your son is being held?
My son is being held in the catacombs, as far as I know. He is with other high-profile prisoners. Please do what you can.
Okay. I will pass those messages on to the team after I've had a bath.
Okay.
And a short rest.
Okay. Dice.
So there's a couple of things I want to do. I need to switch my armor back over to Infiltrator rather than Protector.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll return to the room, and I'm going to put the docent sort of on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Hi, sorry for making you really hot. I was trying to get you out of the chest of the dragon. I thought maybe you didn't want to be there. I'm Dice, by the way.
As you study it and begin to get a feel for it, it is very different from the way Vizier almost immediately interacted with you. There is a power here. You can feel it radiating off it. But it doesn't... While it does feel arcane, you can feel like the arcane almost... You can taste the ozone around it.
Tetracore.
It also... It reminds you of... It takes you back to feeling like a child. Sitting in the middle of a clearing, in the forest near Nidum, being surrounded by life and nature, and just the passage of the world. The docent appears not to be just full of arcane energy, the docent appears to be full of life. Something big that was once alive was used to make this.
Can I try some other languages?
What languages do you speak?
Common, Gnomish, and Infernal. Probably not that helpful for anything big. I can try it and say hello in various language using our EF languages thing, and just try a couple of different languages, like big things that are quite natural, like dragons and things like that, because dragon would make sense.
Try it. Roll me an intelligence check.
Okay. No, I'm not going to let you out. Shut up. Intelligence check. Yep, okay. Intelligence check is 16.
Okay. You remember how to say hello in a few of the more magical languages?
Hello?
What language are you trying first?
Chronic.
Draconic.
You ever seen a dragon?
After a few seconds, you feel the energy inside the docent shift. Hello? You get a response in Draconic.
I'm gonna try. Do you speak common in Draconic? Or can you speak common? Or no English?
I have not thought in this tongue in a long, long time. Does time still pass the same?
It certainly does.
Seconds
I'm gonna say
into
that in
minutes,
common.
into hours, into days, into millennia.
You were a dragon, huh?
I was fire. I was a god. I was immortal. I would soar. Oh, to fly again.
I could throw you at the ceiling, but I don't think it would help. I am very sorry that you have found yourself contained like this. A creature such as you should not be held down. I'm sorry.
Who are you?
My name is Dice de Marilanus. Just a human. Not a nasty human, depending on your experience with us previously. If you had any, of course.
We rarely had quarrel with your kind. Only those idiots who would hunt. The more just ones of us, mistaking us for our more unruly kin.
What's your name? What should I call you?
I cannot remember. It has been an age.
You can pick anything. Just something to refer to you when we speak, perhaps?
I have no preference. It
I'll
has
think
been
on
so
it.
long since I wanted anything.
Well, to lay it out for you, you appear to have been trapped in a metal polyhedral device. I met a more mortal-like creature in one once. His name was Vizier. I have never met one like you. I don't know what I can do to help yet, but maybe there's something I can do. You're no longer controlled, I think.
I think for myself.
How long were you unable to think for yourself for?
Do you still count the years as rotations around the sun?
We do.
2,000 years.
2,000 years ago, you were trapped in this device.
Give or take.
Would you kindly bear with me a moment? I'm going to gather one of my friends. I think that they will help me. They will probably have questions for you. I'm sorry, if you're tired, let me know, but I have a few friends who would be very interested to meet you.
Very well.
I'm going to trot out of the room and leave the docent on my bed. And I'm going to go and find Oriana, Quill, and Ace. As Quill is the most accessible, I'll say. The docent thing that we pulled out of the dragon's chest.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dragon from
No.
2,000 years ago.
No, little ball of light.
It's a come meet them. Come. And I'll grab Oriana as well. And
Oriana's in the bath.
Ariana's in the bath.
in which case I'll yell, Oriana, I need you! Through the door. Oriana's the only one who speaks Draconic. And yeah, I'll drag at least Ace and Quill back with me. So this is my new friend. They don't have a preference on a name. They haven't wanted anything for so long, they've forgotten how to want things. So I don't know what to call them, but I wondered if you had some questions for them. You and I, Quill, have been studying the history of things. Perhaps they might be able to help?
Do they speak common?
They speak common, yes. After a bit of practice, I think it took a while to come back. Is that right?
I am remembering more.
I address the docent in Elvish and say, would an older tongue be more?
Do not speak that tongue to me.
I apologize.
We were just trying to make you more comfortable. It's hard to know which language is best for you.
That
What is your...
would once have been a preferred tongue to speak to those who could not correctly form. Draconic, you called it?
Draconic, yes.
No longer.
That is how we refer to your tongue.
When you were... when you were in your own form, was there a land called Avalon?
Avalon was home.
Did you know what was west from your home?
Yes. A beautiful, unspoiled land. Peoples ranged from the east to the west coast in more harmony with nature than any I fear you have ever met. It was a lush and stunning jewel upon the face of this planet. The dragons were welcome there, and we sunned there often.
That place is no longer accessible to us. Do you know why?
Something changed. Something to do with the elves. They
Now
did.
nobody knows what is west of Avalon.
If you ask, they all respond as though conditioned, robotic. They all say there is nothing west of Avalon. And we know that cannot be true. Because the earth is round.
At least your science has come that far. I do not know why or how an entire people could be brainwashed into believing that land did not exist. However, I am not surprised that it is not in your history books anyway. Some of the magical races took great troubles to keep that land unspoiled by the petty squabbles of this one.
Troubles?
We may have turned or sunk a ship or two that got too close. Are you saying that none now travel in that direction?
None even think of it. They don't seem able to think of it. Their mind slides off the concept.
But surely, after 2,000 years, there are now, especially with humans and your ability to procreate. Surely there's now not enough space in this land to accommodate you all. Surely some of you must have ventured west.
Most of the humans left.
Where?
Isn't that the question?
There was a split. A spell was cast. Those without any modicum of magic were taken elsewhere, and the planes were closed. Close to gods, close to everyone. The humans that remained were put into a position of subservience.
Enslaved. Under the Elven Empire.
The elves, though, are no longer patrons of natural magic. They have made a deal with something
Foul.
dark.
I'm afraid I have no more answers for you. I helped the human king end the war with Mordred.
How did you help?
We flew on the front line against his forces, against the demons.
What can you tell us of this human king?
Arthur. He was wise for a human, kind, prone to anger and rash decision making, but for the most part, a good king. Meted Mill.
It was he who cast the spell that took away half the humans.
More than half.
More than half.
Arthur, while a great and powerful king and fine warrior, was as magical as a quill.
Some quills are rather magical. This book. I'll take out my my book.
Mm-hmm.
This book tells of the something of the battle against Mordred and of its aftermath. It holds more secrets yet than we have unlocked. Can you tell us anything about this? Lay the book out in front of the docent. Open it.
As you lay the book out in front of the docent and open it, you do notice now that there are a few more pages than the last time you looked. The docent, however, I can but see through the eyes of the one who woke me. To me, that book is paper, ink, leather.
Whose eyes can you see through?
Yours.
Sorry about that.
I fear if all believe Arthur cast a spell that affected the world, you will only receive your answers, if you seek them, from the most magical member of his court.
Merlin.
We knew him as Taliesin. Some called him Merlin. Some called him Emrys. He was the same man.
Where could we seek a Merlin, Emrys?
Listen.
He did favor towers. Lone towers. Well, tower. It would appear when needed, when looked for, when the person looking was ready, but always away. Away from people, civilization. This is the man you seek. And he, or the docent, she in fact, sorry, beams a image of a kindly old man into your head. Dice. And you are all at once reminded way back when of a kindly old man you met in Cimria, who gave you some advice and sent you on your way. You've met Merlin before.
Oh, we did? We've met a lot of old people.
Mm-hmm. But you have met Merlin before. A small chance meeting didn't really come to anything. But from a Dungeon Master's perspective, did actually circumvent quite a difficult dungeon crawl. So, you know, kudos. But yes, you've met this man before.
Where did we meet him? Who was it?
Oh, Christ.
You can't have not been anticipating that question.
It was after you left Howe, but before you got to Portal.
Doesn't narrow it down for me, Rich. That was a large span of time. A long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Seriously, no descriptor I could give you would probably remind you, because this could be, oh, you were in the woods. It's like, oh yeah, that was that time. No. But yes, you've met.
Are you sure it wasn't Odin?
Nope.
I remember meeting Odin. I don't remember meeting another old man. I remember meeting a goblin or a gnome that Sepsis murdered. I remember various things. All right. I've seen this man at some point when we were in Cimria. Quill, you weren't there. You hadn't joined us yet, but we've met him. He's there. He still exists. Seriously, why is Ariana in the bath? They yelled that through the door.
This book shit is all you guys.
But we asked it what's west of Avalon. That's your whole fucking thing.
It's a jam.
I missed that bit because our dog was being a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Thank you for your time. What do you want to be able to fly? That's what you want.
I want to soar.
Stick with me. I will try and work out a way to make that happen. It might not be soon, but of course in your lifespan, soon is kind of relative, huh?
I have, since creation, learned patience.
Well, you've been stuck in a metal polyhedral shape for... How many sides does a docent have? Rich, help me out here, because I keep saying polyhedral because I don't know the answer.
It's a ball.
It's a ball?
That's a lot of sides.
It's a lot of sides. Right?
Or no sides, depending on how you look at it. One
Well,
side.
you said you've been stuck in this ball for the last 2,000 years. I can guarantee it won't take me 2,000 years. How's that?
I believe you. Your life will not last that long.
That's very comforting, thank you. How do you feel about being put in a bag of holding? The other option is to fuse you into my armor, but that would take a lot of time, and I'm not sure you'd like to be using your abilities to help someone again anytime soon.
Would you ask? Or command?
I would only ever ask. You might be in a ball, but you're still a person. Well, actually you're a dragon, but you're still a unique thinking entity. Why would I command you to do anything? It's not my place.
I think I'm going to like you.
Thank you. I like you too. I still don't know what to call you. I need someone to help me come up with a name for a red dragon in... no, not a red dragon. What colour dragon were you? Do you remember? So I can picture you in my head.
My scales shone like the sun. You would have called it gold.
Sounds like you were super pretty. You were probably beautiful, and I imagine that looking at you while you soared past the sunlight would have been blinding for anyone beneath you.
Radiant. Almost.
I'm not going to call it Steve, Stu.
What about Argentus?
Does that
Doesn't
not
that
mean
mean silver?
silver?
Yes, it's ironic.
Aurora?
Like, I once knew a very tall man called Little Robert.
You really do need to meet my friend. I think that she would like you very much, and she can speak Draconic and would enjoy, I think, a conversation with a real dragon, whatever form you're in.
I can wait.
For the time being, though, where would you like to be? Where would you like to be? I would rather you be happy rather than constrained, insofar as I can assist.
I have freedom for the first time in an age. If you were to put me in the demi-plane, inside that cloth you call a bag of holding, I would be blind once more.
Potentially, yes.
Fuse me to your armor and I can see.
But you can't move on your own. You'd be constrained by my actions. Would you be okay with that?
Better to be blind and constrained than... Oh, better to see and be constrained than to be blind and constrained.
And hey, maybe I can nudge Dice off a very high place and you can soar briefly.
That is not funny. And I'm going to throw a pillow at Quill's head.
How big is this thing?
Definitely
Roll an attack.
about that big, I think. Because the original one was like that. This one's going to be bigger.
A bit bigger.
Yeah. Not massive, but it does give me a third boob.
Are you going to roll an attack with that pillow or what?
Yeah, I'll roll an attack with the pillow. 7.
I still cast shield.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Ah, you're all horrible people. Okay, I will work on it. It will take me some time, and I have... Well, actually will it? And I will immediately, completely switch off to everyone around me and start working on shaping the armour underneath my clothes to try and make a recess where, at the very least, she could be in it. Even if she's not fused with the armour, she could still be part of the armour, if that makes sense.
Okay, you're doing this during a short rest, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't need to recover hit points, so
Cool.
I was lucky.
Be nice.
Sorry.
Oh, you lost one.
I lost 1 and all 11 of my temporary hit points.
Oh no.
What about Donut? What about Donut the docent?
She's not a docent. She's a dragon. She just
It
happens
doesn't
to be. It
Donut
doesn't
the docent
matter.
dragon. The dragon
It don't. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That's amazing. Oh, Charlie, that's fantastic.
So you switch off and start working on fitting the docent into your armor.
Sorry, bro, did you forget to say that Charlie gets inspiration for that?
Come on, she has to have inspiration. That was an amazing joke.
Yes, Charlie, you can have inspiration. Haven't you already got inspiration?
Oh, I used it.
Oh, okay. Yes, you can have inspiration for that one. It doesn't
Stevie
matter.
the
It's
son.
definitely
It doesn't matter.
But yeah, Quill, you were left in the room with Dice, who is now completely switched off and is concentrating,
Scribbling.
or zoned out, concentrating hard on their armor.
Literally facing my own cleavage like this.
I bounce coins off Dice's helmet for a little while.
Chink, chink. I don't notice.
Oh, I'm bored. And I wander off.
Okay.
Eventually get out of the bath.
I think I'm going to actually go and spend some time studying the book since I noticed new pages had appeared.
Okay. As you begin to study the book, then, a very familiar feeling of being pulled into its pages takes hold of you. You blink, and through the mists of the ages, you find yourself staring at the Elven Palace. It is, however, somewhat different. There is more of a man-made structure to it. You can see its stone foundations, the marble walls and pillars. It is not yet a crystal tower. You do, however, begin to see the crystal growing out of the floor below it, starting to take hold on the outside of the walls of the palace. There are a few spires that have grown quite quickly up and over the height of the palace, and you can see how, at least from your viewpoint in the future, the crystal will take over completely and stretch 100, maybe 150 feet in the air. But for now, most of the man-made structure is still visible. You see, crouched in a bush in front of you, Kai, the writer of the journal. He looks right, looks left. You can hear him counting. And as he counts and gets to a count of 60, he breaks forward, quicker than you thought, or quicker than you've seen any human move before. He dives from the shadow of one bush into another, and you already know the door he is reaching for, the door he is making his way towards. It is the door you saw the Inquisitor and the Prince enter previously. He makes his way very quickly and very deftly, picks the lock on the door, silently opens it, slips inside, and you find yourself moving along with him. You make your way down one corridor, left down another, right down another, down some stairs. You feel his movements begin to slow. You can see sweat on his brow. You can see him gritting his teeth. And a yellow, almost jaundiced pale comes over the whites of his eyes that gets more pronounced the further in he goes. Unfortunately, this is a memory, and you cannot feel or sense what is happening, but it's almost as if at one point he moves away down a corridor. His health begins to get better. So he turns and goes in the opposite direction, purposefully making himself worse. He starts muttering to himself. You can see the sweat now pouring out of him. There is a horrendous fever. The delirium is almost taking hold, but he steels himself and continues on. Until, from your reckoning, directly below the palace, in the center, he turns a corner. He is bathed in a green light so bright as to be almost white. And that light pulses like a heartbeat. You, watching this memory, try and look around the corner, but you are forced away. You cannot approach any further. You are, unfortunately, destined just to look, and cannot behold what is causing the horror on his face. And all at once, the mists come across your vision once more, and you are returned to your room.
Well, I didn't like that, and I can't tell Dice about it. Because you're busy.
Oh, I see. Not just in general.
You can tell Oriana. She's out of the bath now, I think.
She doesn't care. I go to Oriana's room and I'm like, hey Oriana, do you care about the book?
Can you give me the abridged version?
Yes, and I give Oriana the abridged version of what you just said.
Okay.
Sweet. Now, do you think I should put my hair up or leave it down tonight?
Well, what about like a half up, half down curly thing?
Alright.
I think it accentuates your horns. Frames your face, you know?
Sweet. Oh, I
Sweet.
spoke to Natasha.
Uh-huh.
She's asked if somebody can be sneaky and have a look around the palace. And Jarrah says his son is being held in the catacombs with other high profile.
I am very, very sneaky.
You are, that's very true. So if you at any point could sneak off undetected.
That does sound like something I could do. Maybe Dice will let me borrow the cloak.
And the boots, if you wanted them.
I can't attune.
Maybe for I am nugget.
So is
I think I can manage that.
Okay. Was there anything else any of you wanted to do to prepare before the evening?
Just take a short rest.
Okay. You can all take a short rest. I know you've done it, Charlie.
Done
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't really. At some point, I will attempt to run a brush through my hair, and then literally 15-20 minutes before we're due to leave, I'm going to run in and go, Ori, I need you to braid my hair. I was distracted with a dragon, and there was a dragon in the orb, and then my hair looks like this, and I'm wearing a dress, and everything just look at it, it's crazy. Please help me.
Sit down. And I will braid Dice's hair.
It's really long and floofy.
Whoever Dom has sent to fetch your dresses does return during this time and presents them to you. They are incredibly finely made, beautiful.
And they have pockets, hidden pockets all the way through them for weapons. I asked for that at the time.
They absolutely do.
I can't hide my staff in a dress.
Hide a dagger.
Depends how good you would be at persuading a guard that a staff is not a weapon.
I'm taking my staff.
I'm gonna say your persuasion is probably quite a good bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're sorry.
I'm taking my staff.
Cool.
I don't have any weapons, I'm fine.
It's not a weapon, it's an arcane focus.
I won't take a weapon, but I will take
A decorative
the bag
hilt.
of holding. Yeah, the bag of the holding with the sunblade hilt in it.
Okay.
Weird.
Okay. And Dice, you won't take a weapon.
My armor is my weapon.
I am the weapon.
I literally am the weapon, as long as I have my armor on me.
Okay.
And my new dragon buddy.
What are you going to do about Ace?
Ace also had a new item of clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And
That
I guess
is
I'll
a big fucking hammer to hide in a pocket.
I'll just put it in my bag of holding.
Okay. All right.
And then give it to Oriana to carry so she can persuade people not to look in it.
Okay. Cool.
Not that even if they did look in it that they'd see anything, but yeah.
Also, to be fair, Ace does deal 6 damage with an unarmed strike and can put smite on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Ace
I
is
think
also
they can
fine.
put smite on it.
Improve.
They should be able
Yeah.
No, it's a weapon attack, isn't it?
Yeah, but an unarmed strike isn't a weapon attack. That's why I'm checking now. No, it has to be a melee weapon attack. So
A
you
melee
can't do
weapon
it.
attack.
But all they've got to do is pick up like a candelabra off the table,
Yeah,
smack someone over the head
We'll
with
get
it.
them. We'll get them a bladed gauntlet at some point, and they can just
Yeah.
or a spiked gauntlet. So every punch is like improved divine smite. Smack. Oh.
Fine.
Ooh. Boxing paladin.
Right, focus, babe.
All right. Sorry. Yeah. Next time. But yes. Eventually, the night does fall. Once more, a cart comes in laden with goods that you have won for the school. All of your companions, those still alive, begin to make merry. Start putting the meat over the fire, start pouring out the drinks. They applaud you and raise their drinks to you as you are then escorted by many, many of the Prince's Guard in the Prince's carriage once more to the palace. And I think we will probably end it there,
seems sensible.
if that's okay with
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
Holy shit, guys, we got through a whole session of Dungeons and Dragons.
2020!
See, guys, I
22.
told you we play Dungeons and Dragons on this channel.
Yes, every once in a while, but we
Yeah.
do.
It does happen.
Only when our normal channel is asleep. Our normal D&D channel.
He wasn't very well, leave him alone.
Yeah,
The poorly boy.
Yeah, I couldn't get hold of AD, unfortunately, and when I tried to get Streamlabs to connect to Heavyweight RPG,
Heavyweight.
I think the stream key might have changed. It does happen a lot now. Obviously, if it's your own channel, every time you log in or every time you open it up, if it refreshes, it's fine because you've already logged into it. If, however, like I was, you're using the stream key to access it as a third party, so I can stream on a Sunday on AD's one, I think I need to have the refresh stream key kind of more often because I think the last time we did it was about 2 months ago. So yeah, I couldn't connect to Heavyweight RPG. AD wasn't available because he's a bit poorly. So this evening, at least, we've decided to continue our adventure on Dice of the Beholder. Big plans this year, though, especially on Heavyweight RPG. So we will be back on that channel.
I believe that's pronounced heavyweight PG.
We will be
Funny
back
because it's true.
on that channel. AD has insane, massive plans this year for Heavyweight RPG.
No, the man just never stops thinking. It's actually a bit
Um,
concerning.
Yeah, I love it.
Sit there listening to him like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I've spent lunchtimes at work randomly joining his channel and chatting with Heavy. It's brilliant. But no, on this channel, now I've discovered that I can stream Escape from Tarkov. I will be streaming more often because I will be playing lots of Escape from Tarkov. Greg might join
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see.
and survive a lot longer than me.
We'll see.
Hopefully, once everyone stops logging on just for the drops, we might have some server consistency. We'll actually get to play. That'd be nice. But yes, we are back with D&D. Can't promise that we're going to be back next week. We'll see how it goes. But I'm very, very thankful you guys all turned up to watch us this week.
Thank you.
I love playing D&D, but I especially love running D&D. A, because it makes my friends happy. And B, you guys seem to kind of enjoy it too, which is great.
Hooray!
Also, if you run D&D for your friends consistently for like, what are we doing, like 5 years now, almost? 4.5 years? Yeah, 5 years coming up.
Pretty much, yeah.
They buy you fucking awesome Christmas gifts. like this, with the thumbies and the daggers and the wings on the back.
He's so happy.
Yeah.
Honestly, he is.
Yeah. So if you do
Mine's
that,
very cool too,
if you
but-
do that,
That must be starting to smell pretty bad by now.
No, it's been washed. It's okay.
How did you get it off him?
that is a bold-faced lie. It has not been washed yet. It will be washed tomorrow morning. I will then go back to bed
I
for a
was trying
couple
to
of
save
hours.
face for him, but no, okay, it hasn't been washed. It's true.
It's good. It's a hoodie. I wear like 2 layers below it. It's fine. But yes, find yourself some friends who are that amazing, because I have, and I'm very happy. Apart from that, though,
I don't think my channel's gonna be coming back anytime soon.
No, you're very
We've got
right.
stuff to do.
you've got a lot
I-
more important shit going on.
I've got this going on right now. So
Yeah.
That's a whole person. Look at it.
Yeah, that's
There's,
a big old belly.
this is my priority at the moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Charlie overate slightly at lunches.
Christmas really got me, guys.
Christmas really, yeah.
Yeah, I've
One or
got
two more mince pies than she maybe should have had. And,
about just over 2 months left ish.
Mental.
New
I
player.
could go on the end of February. New player incoming. Yes, we have baby books that are D&D books for him already.
That's so cute.
Yes.
I love everything about all
Oh,
of
do
it.
you get the-
1, 2, 3, and ABC.
I love those. They're like the
We've
cutest
got
thing in the
them,
world.
yeah.
If my
Who
kids
knew
were in
they had
any
them?
way interested, though, I'd have them.
yeah.
But it's slightly weird if I'm buying them for myself.
Yes, I am working on
Well, when
character
you-
creation.
When you come around to hang out with Baby Griffin, you can read them to him, bro.
I will. I'll do it in different accents and everything.
Yes.
That'd be good.
Ah! I can't
If you
wait.
do that at him, though, he is going to cry.
No.
Whatever you just did with your face,
No.
he's going to.
No. Babies,
He's gonna think you're fucking gonna eat them.
babies fucking love me. Your
You'll get it.
ex-husband trained Tabby and Finn's half-brother to hate me. Right?
That's
Babies
decidedly
fucking love
Extremely
me.
paranoid. That is extremely
He
paranoid.
hates me.
He doesn't hate you. He thinks your beard's scary, and he was born during lockdown. Leave him alone. He's
Yeah.
2 years old now. He's cute. He's
Yeah.
he's one of the cutest kids ever. Do not listen to this man. He is
Hates
a
me.
very happy little baby, and
Hates
I love
me.
him.
Cannot look at me without crying.
It's because you're really scary. Have you
I feel
seen
like
your own
that's some
face?
days pride.
Yeah, me too, Charlie.
But yes, thank you all.
Story
For...
time with Uncle Bry. Keep him in the cupboard.
Charlie's working on character creation. Aww.
Yeah.
You're going to have a
I should get-
baby.
I should get a maternity top that says that. Just character creation.
Take us home, bro. I need a wee.
Yeah, okay. But yes, thank you all for joining us. We will
See you
keep you up
soon.
to date on when the next stream will be. But as always, take care, stay safe, look out for each other. We love you guys, and we will see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Love you guys.